Yes, ma'am, we can start, ma'am. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the webinar on assistive technology in educating children with special needs, organized by Department of Education, Mother Teresa Women's University, Kodaikanal. It's indeed a great pleasure to welcome you all here for this national level webinar. And in this webinar, around 757 participants have registered across our country and from Dubai, Bahrain, and Oman. Here amongst us to preside this webinar, we have our Honorable Vice Chancellor, Dr. Vaidegi Vijay Kumar ma'am, to deliver presidential address and to welcome the gathering. I request Dr. K.C. Bindu to welcome the gathering. Over to Bindu, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, Renuka. It is a pleasure to welcome everyone to this August gathering. It is so wonderful to see you all here in this day. Teachers have always played a crucial role in preparing committees and searches towards exploring new horizons and achieving higher levels of progress and development. Welcome to our Vice Chancellor, Dr. Vaidegi Vijay Kumar. Welcome, ma'am. Your presence in this gathering enrich the program. No words to represent our Vice Chancellor. Her multiple roles as a good leader, as a good learner, best administrator, answer to parents, society, government, and towards our own profession. Always motivate our faculties to lead a creative pathway. Ma'am, அவங்களை போல எங்களை மாற்ற வேண்டும் என்று நினைத்து வேகமாகவும் சிறப்பாகவும் முழுமையாகவும் சில வேலைகளை கொடுக்கும் பொழுது நாங்கள் அதை செய்வதற்கு ஆரம்பத்தில் திணறி சிக்கினாலும் முடிக்கும் போது we attain the full perfection. Ma'am, in this time I like to say we groom ourselves to be successful teachers by getting acquainted with professional association. Welcome, ma'am. Welcome.
Thank you, Bindu madam.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am.
Register, ma'am, present.
Registrar, please wait.
Ma'am.
Okay.
Ma'am, register is not feeling well, ma'am.
Okay.
Okay.
Just now she informed me that we can proceed with our thing as you are presiding the function.
Okay, ma'am. Okay, welcome our honorable registrar. Without her presence, he is ma'am is support and encouragement always with us. Thanking you, ma'am, and welcome. Welcome our control of examination and dean of research, dean of arts and science, all our faculty members of university and the department. Welcome on behalf of myself and Mother Teresa Women's University. Much pleasure to welcome today's resource person, Mr. S. Shankar Subbiah, Assistive Technology and Accessibility Consultant, Chennai. Welcome, sir.
Thank you.
Welcome. Then welcome Dr. Akila Surendran, Senior Engineer, Center for Assistive Technology and Innovation, National Institute of Speech and Hearing, Trivandrum. Welcome, ma'am. Welcome, ma'am. Then welcome our faculty, Dr. C. Renuka Devi, Organizing Secretary of this event. Welcome, Renuka, ma'am. Last
Thank you,
but
ma'am.
not at least, our participants from various fields. Ma'am told more than 200 participants. More than 200 participants participated in this program. Wish you all the best. Thank you to given this golden opportunity to welcome one and all. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, ma'am, for your welcome address. Our leader is one who lights the path to the impossible and takes the wings of pillar of with vision, ideal of knowledge and experience. We have amongst us a great leader who always motivates us in all our endeavors and supports us in doing all the things. I request Honorable Vice Chancellor of Mother Teresa Women's University, Dr. to deliver presidential address. Welcome, ma'am.
Good morning to one and all present here. Renuka, please mute all the other participants' microphone.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Mute பண்ணிடுவா
Respected Chief Guest, Mr. Shankar Subbiah, Assistive Technology and Accessibility Consultant, Chennai. Respected Resource Person, Dr. Akila Surendran, Senior Engineer, Center for A&T and Innovation, National Institute of Speech and Hearing, Trivandrum. Respected Registrar, respected Controller of Examination, Dean Research, Financial Officer, respected Head of the Department, Dr. Bindu, Organizing Person, Dr. Renuka, and my dear participants, very warm welcome to all the participants for this national webinar on assistive technology in educating children with special needs. Assistive technology, the name itself is telling some assistance is needed. Assistance is needed even for irregular students because demand expected in education is very high. And nowadays, the system expects the students to know whatever they are going to learn through flipped classroom concept, and they should know the concept and they should come to class with a knowledge of asking question. Instead of knowing what is what, we should motivate the students to ask question. That is what is new education policy and education 4.0 is expecting. Apart from that, we need to train the students in the current industrial need, Industry 4.0 and Industry 5.0. And for all these things, the students should need some assistance. So generally, ancient days, Thinnai Padlikudam, they will be writing in sand, and after that blackboard. Now the boards have become smart, and whatever we write in board, it is possible to save and it is possible to share. And in this COVID pandemic period, it is possible for us to share whatever we speak with several people with video conferencing methodology like what we are doing in Zoom. So mobile has given a tremendous boosting in education, and mobile technology, computers are playing a major role. Then the video lectures are possible to be stored, shared in Moodle, and the teachers have got lots of liberty in preparing the lectures and porting onto Moodle platform and providing accessibility for the slow learners to listen to the lecture when and where they need. Apart from that, we are now coming to the special children. Nowadays, lots of children are diagnosed with dyslexia, that is learning disability, and also people have got lots of problem because of the food and because of this poison in food. It is getting reflected in lots of problems in child. So we have to definitely have a methodology of giving helping hand for such children. And this particular webinar is addressing special children with special education. And there is a word, we need to have patience in teaching such children, and we should understand what exactly needed for them, and we should have faith, and obviously with faith and patience, it should be possible for the children to learn. What are the special children needs? The disability may be in viewing. If that is the case, there should be a methodology of zooming the text. And if they are not in a position to see anything at all, then there should be a practice of using a laptop and tell them by clicking this, it should be possible for you to hear whatever is shown in PPT. And by clicking left, it should be possible for you to have a different language. So obviously, apart from Zooming, what we need is phonetic spelling software, and for mathematics, they need talking calculator, and they want to have language translator so that audible voice will make the people to learn. And if they are having disability in hearing, then obviously it should be possible for you to have the PPT or the picture along with the language translation. For example, if we listen to a Hindi language movie, there will be a translator which is going to be shown below the video, and such type of feature will make the students understand, irrespective of the language, whatever they are going to have. And of course, we have a traditional Braille system for the blind people. Apart from that, what we have is basically disability in writing or hand movement. There we have the problem of technology called haptic technology, and haptic technology is basically trying to give you a feeling of what is going to be the nature of texture of, let us say, apple or flower, and that is going to be sensed by the sensor, and it is going to be given as brain waves by having a gadget. So it is this haptic technology is induced in robotics and assisting doctors in performing robotic based surgery. That means how many millimeter a knife should be placed on the part of the body so that it is possible to have a very, very accurate operation. So this haptic technology, that is sensory organs based learning system, has become a need of the day. So artificial intelligence induced in virtual reality, augmented reality is also creating the feel of different things for the disabled person, so that it is possible for them to at least realize. Even blind people will be in a position to see the colors and see the natures, what is tree, what is basically the sunset, sunrise, how the sea is going to look like with different other organs. So the technology with smart room, it is possible for a teacher to write it on the board. Whatever she's writing, it is possible for the teacher to share between several people. A software which is going to make a student to learn. Let us say a student is learning programming language. The concept is taught, set of questions are given, and the time taken by a student to solve a fundamental question, if it is going to be more, that means he is detected or she is detected as a slow learner. So the testing is going to give you, based upon the mark, whether a student has learned the fundamentals. Accordingly, if the fundamental is not learned by a student properly, there are several other motivating questions making a student to learn that concept before the person is moving to the next chapter. That means
नीचे तो देख, नीचे कितना जा रहा पैर। कहाँ है?
hello, hello,
Ma'am, you're audible, ma'am. You're audible, ma'am.
am I audible?
Ma'am, you're audible, ma'am.
Okay. Actually, based upon the answers given by a student, based upon the time taken by a student, it is possible for a set of questions to get populated in the desktop so that a student is learning the concept properly. So that is basically introduced in several colleges. And what we have is basically a helping hand for the people to pronounce certain things properly. That is talking spell checker. And whenever student write, and if they wanted to know how to pronounce, there is a technology which is going to go the talking spell checker. Then whenever you see an apple, definitely there should be a dictionary telling that this is something to do with apple. Picture dictionary graphics is also available so that a word apple is related to the figure of apple, several colors of apple, and obviously the participative learning and collaborative learning. Apart from that, project-based learning is making the person to do certain things, activities, so that activity-based learning make a physically challenged person to understand concept so that the learning skills are enhanced. So apart from that, nowadays we have artificial intelligence based brainwave recording. So a person is not in a position to speak. So, and we have a code book which says whether a person is happy, sad, or under depression by recording the brainwave, and that particular instrument is going to be kept on the top of the head, and based upon the recording, whether a student is in a position to understand and they are in a position to be happy about whatever they are learning, that is also available. Though then a person has got a disability in hand, so based upon the head movement, depending upon several movements of the head, it is possible for the camera to understand what you wanted to convey. Accordingly, the things are getting projected in the screen. That is head movement based and eye movement based action control are available in technology so that it is possible for people to understand what exactly a student is trying to convey. So the concept is we have to understand whether a student is a slow learner, a medium learner, or a fast learner. Accordingly, the portion, the subject should be given to the student so that the person will be in a position to understand subject, or they should understand the challenge. Whenever they are a fast learner, several other questions should be asked so that his brain is activated, and it should be possible for a person to give solution for such question, and they should feel happy about learning extra. So in conclusion, several technologies are available, and one such technology is student tracking management. A student, when he is a online person and he is not in a position to understand where exactly he is doing and what exactly the activities of the person, it is possible for me to collect it from the sensor, whether the person is sitting or standing or running, based upon the accelerometer reading, whether the person is in anxiety mode or he is in a normal mode, and whether the person is outside or inside the classroom or at home. So the location based information, the GPS based information, and the environment sensor are going to be giving a multiple sensor data fusion model to understand the psychology of the special children, and the teacher can act accordingly. So if a student is definitely in classroom or in front of a camera, in front of a laptop, and if he is listening, based upon the eye tracking, it is possible for us to understand the student is not sleeping, he is doing this activity. So a tracking mechanism is nowadays available in technology, and the uniqueness of a student is identified using RFID and wireless wired system. The 4G, 5G technologies provides the PPT, the video lectures, then the audio, everything is integrated and given. And nowadays, mobiles are smart system. And now, earlier days, we used to say mobile should not be touched by a student. Now we are making the technology, the positive aspect of the technology for the special children to learn. And such a learning will definitely make a person to learn more and more, and the special children will become normal only by the patient teaching of the teacher and the faith the teacher is going to have on the children. So as teachers, we have to definitely make the students to learn more, and especially women, they should be definitely having the knowledge and they should be useful to the society. I thank the organizer for having this, and the special education of Mother Teresa University has been attracted by several people, and our university is organizing or introducing 4 5-year integrated courses, one on MSc Biotechnology, MSc Computer Science specialization in data science, MCOM 5-year integrated course, and we have MA Sociology 5-year integrated course. And the audience, the participant, please pass on this information to known people, and admission is given for PG level, MPhil level, PhD level, and please make use of the opportunity. And our university is the only women university of Tamil Nadu state, and the fee is nominal. Quality education is important. We are committed for placement, and our students are available global wise. Our alumni association is very strong, and please make use of the golden opportunity and stay with us, and let us grow together. And thank you very much for giving this opportunity.
Thank you so much, ma'am, for highlighting the role of a teacher in using technology and the ways in which technology can enhance the learning of not only students in general school, but also students with special needs also. Thank you so much, ma'am. Your presidential address itself was like highlighting the theme of the webinar organized today. Thank you so much, ma'am, for accepting our invitation and delivering a presidential address and motivating the participants of the webinar to stay motivated and encouraged in the upcoming technical session. Thank you so much, ma'am.
Thank you.
Now, okay, ma'am. Welcome. Now we are moving on to the technical sessions. Technical session 1 is on assistive technology and accessibility for inclusive classroom routine, presented by Mr. Shankar Subbiah. Sir is basically a software engineer with 20 years of professional experience, who is passionate professional working as assistive technology and accessibility consultant in Agate Infotech Chennai, with a mission of inclusion, inequality, and marching towards the accessibility. Sir is associated with national organizations like NIPMED, Samagra Shiksha Abhiyan of Tamil Nadu, Public Libraries, Commissionerate of Persons with Disabilities of Tamil Nadu. And he also works along with the universities, colleges, etc. of higher education thing, and very much closely associated with the Ramakrishna Mission Vivekananda Education Research Institute at national level, and internationally he works with Leonard Cheshire UK, CBM, and other CSR organizations for whom he designs and implements various projects based on information and communication technology, accessibility solution for education and livelihood. He mentors and works with many assistive technology startups in India for developing user-centric solution. So Mother Teresa Women's University is privileged to have sir as a resource person of this technical session. Welcome you, sir, to this Department of Education. Mother Teresa Women's University organized a webinar on assistive technology, and hope all the participants will have a very enlightened session of yours. Over to you, sir.
Thank you, ma'am. First of all, I'd like to thank the Vice Chancellor, ma'am, Registrar, ma'am, and the organizers and convener of this particular webinar on assistive technology, particularly an inclusive classroom. It is the session which I am going to handle it. Am I audible to everyone?
Yes, sir, you're audible, sir.
Okay, fine. Then I'm just closing my video for the bandwidth requirements, and probably if required, I can again come on video. Probably like, as Vice Chancellor Madam were emphasizing on the use of assistive technology, she had even highlighted many of the latest advancements which are taking up in educational technology, as well as where we are heading to. Corona virus, or COVID-19 it is called. Basically, it has also boosted up so much of digital inclusion, I can say that. Okay, more of digital activities are happening around the world, and India has also taken up the race, and we could see so much of discussions, webinars everywhere going. Previously, if it is going to be a CRE or something, it will be happening in remote places, and people have to travel and all that. Now, technology has facilitated to assemble even 100, 200, 300 people in one place. So that's where it's something kind of a positive impact, though people are suffering, and probably people are getting out of it, fortunately, for the prayers and wishes of God. And this is one kind of an education and learning experience is happening to everybody. So if I am not audible, or probably if I have to slow down my language, please either raise your hands, or probably you could also to inform me unmuting your mic also, so I'll be able to accordingly tune my language too. Okay. And then particularly coming to this context, me and my friend Akila Surendran from Center for Assistive Technology Initiative of Finish will be handling these sessions, and I'll be handling more upon giving an introduction of what kind of devices, tools, and applications are available, and she'll be dealing more on the communication part, as she comes from National Institute of Speech and Hearing, as well as she'll be dealing something about how you could make low-cost technology products at your home. Probably could also teach children and parents also how to do that. So that is a plan we have for today. And without taking much of your time, I just want to get into the session. Okay. So assistive technology and accessibility for inclusive classroom routines. So probably is my screen visible for you? Can anybody from the organizer side, are you able to see my screen, ma'am? Or
yes, sir, your screen is visible, sir.
oh, okay, fine, thank you. So when we say assistive technology, as Madam was pointing it out, it can be a device, or it can be a tool, or it can be a high-tech software, or it can be a adaptation in procedure. Okay, we don't take that assistive technology has to be always kind of a high-cost computer or a tablet. It can be a simple gesture by a person. It is being used by every person in life. Okay, for example, if you're going to call somebody who is standing at a distance, then you're going to wave your hands, right? The same thing is going to help a person with hearing impairment also. So this is an adaptation you make, instead of calling out or saying his name, but just waving your hands to come here. And this is being seen by him through a visual cue, and he is coming over here. Even this is, we feel that this is a kind of an assistive technology adaptation. It can be followed up in a classroom or anywhere in that. Okay. Similarly, whatever we do, in a classroom, for example, instead of just giving us an audio lecture, if I'm able to write something on the board, or probably writing something, we're able to explain it over over a voice, then it matters somebody who requires a auditory feedback as well as who is required visual feedback. Both kind of children may be there. So for them, it serves you yourself as a human being. You yourself serve as an assistive technology for them, supplementing their difficulties in hearing or seeing or understanding. Okay, or kind of organizing their memory. All that even you can be an assistive technology. Similarly, like when you say that assistive technology also deals with the services, because it's not that we also understand what the particular child's requirement is. Then at times we have to sit with the parent, or it has to sit with the other therapists or with the other professionals, or probably if we are going to procure a device or something like that, then we have to sit with the procurement part. Then we have to think whether this particular assistive technology is affordable. First one. Second thing is like is it like more accessible to the particular difficulty the child has? And third, again, like whether is it available either in the local or probably at least within the country, so that if anything happens to it, how are we going to maintain it? How are we going to have a training on that? So these 3 A's of probably like accessibility, affordability, and availability, it matters more, and that really helps in the assistive technology services. So what does it help? It helps in accomplishing a task, or probably like maintain the inherent or developed capabilities of a person or probably a child. So it is like for a child without any difficulties, like taking a notebook and writing on it is going to make him remember what the teacher says. But if it is going to be for a child with hearing impairment, then that is going to serve him for reading when the teacher is talking, or some kind of a notes which is taken to a house, and then sit with his parent and work on it. Similarly, if there's going to be a diagram or something like that, it is helpful for a child with cognitive difficulty or intellectual disability. Then he may take it to the home. He can sit with his brothers or sisters or somebody and ask that, this is not, I'm not able to understand it, probably not of my learning things. So can you teach me this more? So this how like a small even a notepad writing or a drawing can become an assistive technology for somebody with difficulties. So we always classify assistive technology as no tech, where a person or somebody who just by the adaptation he makes in the behavior or the way he is going to instruct in a classroom is going to support some child, then this is called no tech. Or even in a procedure like an examination or something like that, if somebody is appointed for a scribe or something like that, and there is no technology involved, but the scribe serves to write the examination for a child who is able to convey her auditorily. So these are all something we call this no tech. And low tech is something like we say that it is about like something which is available around you. It could be a chalk piece, it could be a pen, or it could be anything like a piece of paper which you can convert it into a media by which you can deliver an instruction. Probably like teaching a square or teaching a cylinder or anything. What of a water bottle? It's a cylinder, and like how is it holding the water? Okay, so what is the property of the water and all that? Instead of just being written in a book and writing on a board, if you're able to explain with this kind of a simple models, simple 2D or 3D models, then that is also assistive technology. So that we call it as low tech, which you can make it out of your home or you could make it out of your classroom, and that makes the education easier and accessible for children with various kinds of difficulties. Then comes mid tech, what we call it as like which has a requirement of some kind of a power for operating, so that some kind of an input is given to that and it gives an output. Simple to say that a recorder or something which I can record the lessons instead of taking a notes, or probably something kind of a light or something like that, which in a classroom will tell somebody with hearing impairment that the class is over. Okay, or probably like any other thing like as madam was telling about sensors and all that, right? So small things which are an implementation thing. No, they could support a child whether it is the other things are operating or not. Okay, they're all coming under the mid tech. So you give some input and it gives an output. Okay, that's how it operates. So that becomes a mid tech. And it go for high tech. it gets an input, it processes it, and then gives an output. There comes your computer, there comes your laptop or tablet or mobile devices, now which takes on the input, okay, and then probably which processes it inside, which displays something, which talks something, or which shows you something, right? So it processes and then gives an output. Okay, so it also requires power. At the same time, it also has a processing capability. So that's called high tech. So we see the pictures, like, and I just put it for your presentation mode, like there can be a low tech mobility aid, or there could be a kind of a mid tech kind of a, a scooter or something like that, or it could be a kind of, a staircase lift or anything kind of thing. And in education, it can support in reading, writing, note taking, okay, or magnifying something, like, for enhanced reading capability, or it could be a speech to text or text to speech. Okay, we'll be seeing some more examples as we go along in this session. Okay, so this is all assistive technology. So here, the most important thing is about the assessment. We need to know the characteristics and the difficulties of the particular child. Okay, and then the environment, whether it is going to be used in a particular classroom alone, or probably it is going to be also used in a home where he may not have all this kind of a facility, or whether understanding the home situation and accordingly making your assistive technology work with an adaptation. And then probably sitting with therapists, sitting with any other professionals who are involved. Okay, and then for the learning, the learning capability, about the mobility, about the communication, all that. If you're going to sit with the professionals, the special educators, and everybody are going to sit together, or at least counsel over a phone, and then decide, okay, this is there are so many tools available. So this particular tool is satisfying his difficulty, as well as it will also help us to do some tasks. So we call it a set. We call it a set, like it's called set framework, student environment, and then, like, task and tools by Jai Subbiah, a famous assistive technology expert from USA. It is a very good framework to do an assessment for a child and then deliver an assistive technology so that it will be useful for him in in executing their task or tool. Okay, there may be a plethora, there could be a large range of assistive technologies are available now with WhatsApp, with many other social media apps and everything are growing up in internet. Okay, but what are we going to really use for the particular child matters more about the characteristics, the difficulties they have, the tasks we are going to do. Okay, and as I told you, the 3 A's, like whether this particular thing is available here, whether this particular thing is affordable here, and finally, is it also accessible to the particular child. So accessibility is a kind of a byproduct of assistive technology. When you have an assistive technology, you are enabling accessibility. So in a school or in a teaching or in a learning environment, whether it can be a offline or an online mode. Okay, so what does it mean? Actually, here you think about it, like access to a learning environment. Access to a learning environment, it can be a school or it can be a kind of an online platform where we are going to teach now in this kind of a pandemic situation. How far this particular medium is going to be accessible for the child to operate. And then even if he is going to come inside, like, the information I provide to him as instructional materials or the procedure, what I'm giving you. So this kind of a thing, is it accessible? And does it, does it enable the child with the difficulty, to catch up from that, learn from that? Okay. Then the social access, even in this kind of an online or an offline platform, how much of an equal opportunity for the child we are going to give? Okay, like, we may have to always ask them, like, whether they are available, whether they are able to understand, or do they have any kind of a doubts? Do they have any problem with their assistive device? Okay, and then accordingly move around, accordingly move ahead with our way of instruction. Okay, so that again, when it's going to be a kind of a contribution is something like every child wants to say something in the classroom as an answer, as a response that he has learned something, to exhibit that he has learned something. So again, without any kind of a hesitation or mind, like, probably communicating the child that he can also contribute, he can also respond to any kind of a media which is accessible in the particular medium. can be in online or it can be offline. So accessibility is physical, it can be about information, and it can be about the social attitude of the teacher or probably a parent or somebody who is involved in educating, who is involved in instructing the child with educational materials. So here you see these pictures, like you could see that there are a few elements like for physical access, it will be a ramp or something like that in your classrooms, or probably from the gate to the classrooms or to the playgrounds and everywhere. An accessible toilet or a restroom, which is more important, particularly in this hygienic requirement, personal hygiene and all that. And if you have levels of schools, like particularly for those children with visual difficulties, or walking difficulty or understanding difficulties, the stairs and rails, okay, and proper lighting within a classroom, okay, so that a child with hearing impairment who is much dependent upon the visual learning is able to see your board, or even a kind of you sit for an online classroom or something like that, then at least now PowerPoint is there, your laptop is going to present, okay. Let us not encourage that from a mobile or somewhere we are trying to do a classroom. Always try to have a tablet or a laptop so that you will be at least like comfortable in operating, and probably like we'll have a more accessible instructional method also. Okay. Then the material whatever you are providing, can it be converted into braille, or probably you are showing some graphic representations, can it be converted into a tactile graphics, particularly at which are the available materials in the home. It could be a rubber band, it could be pins, or it could be Fevicol. However, be that, now can the child ask, like, the teacher taught me to write this. Can you just make it into a tactile graphic, a raised line graphic with textures and all that, and show me this so that I'll be able to understand it. The parent can easily do that. Materials are available at home. So probably this has to be, probably shown to the child, or probably like, told to the child, like this can be done this way. So that the material how we are going to give, and the content we give, not much of a text content. Can it be ordered in list? Can it be like given as kind of a bullet points or something like that? More of a visual and text combination, or probably if it requires a video or something like that, some kind of links for that, so that the child can explore more, learn more, okay, at his own convenience and pace. He may not be able to take it very easily in the classroom within this 1 hour, 1.5 hours, or 2 hours, but he has another 6 hours, 7 hours, which he can slowly at his own pace, like he could operate and learn. The same thing, like whenever you are presenting something, like there is a kind of a point size to everybody, like whatever be the text should be of at least in a presentation. If it is going to be a heading, like at least make it like 32 points or something like that, and then probably all those points you are heading, giving in the text, let it be at least from 18 points onwards, because you are showing it in a visual medium. You are showing it in a visual medium, and again, when the child is going to take it as a PDF or something like that, it should be visible for somebody with kind of a low vision, or probably like a visual processing difficulty and all that. And whenever you use, like try to use like a dark color letter on a white or a light background, instead of a dark background and a and like a light color or some kind of a shady letters. Try to avoid background pictures and all that, so that the importance goes to the particular text or something which has to really get into the child's mind. So that way, like you could prepare things. Probably like you could also prepare for some child with a intellectual disability, some kind of a checklist, like, okay, you read this, then probably next thing you have to do, this is what you have to do, then this is what next you have to do. Like that, if you can prepare a checklist so that the child can follow it up and accordingly follow a kind of a sequence in learning. Similarly, like if it is going to be a large volume material, which you are not going to be like 20 pages, 35 pages and all that, you could always convert that into, we call it as DAISY, Digital Accessible Information System, or EPUB, okay, like electronic publication in accessible format. Okay, the advantage of this EPUB or DAISY is that it gives a child the same way, the same convenience as a printed book. So for those child who are not able to hold a book in hand, or who are not able to read a book visually, or who may require some a magnification of the book, and all that. This particular method of lazy or probably like EPUB will really help. I'll tell you some of the tools which are readily available in your own laptops and computers for reading this kind of EPUB books also. So it highlights, it indexes. Okay, they can go to pages, they can bookmark pages, and they can go to the real content. Okay, there can be audios. The text will audio facilities can also be done here. Okay, then in case like you have children with hearing impairment, deafness, who are not able to follow much of a language and all that, a simple way through gestures or sign language can also be practiced. Then comes the social, it has to happen. Probably these are all something which are already happening somewhere. Many places they have started including assistive technology and accessibility. But in procedures, particularly when it comes for examinations and all that, literally, we need to allow children to take on exams. As we are allowing children to take on lessons using a mobile phone or a computer, why can't they take the exams on a computer through online Google Forms? They are more accessible for every child. It can be operated by a child with visual impairment with a screen reader. It can be operated by a child with severe locomotor impairment with a switch or something to type. Predictions are there. As Madam was pointing out, there are so many technologies which are available. So instead of depending on another human person or conveying all that, and if he is not able to reproduce all that, what the child has in mind within the time frame, can we not encourage, even in the assessment procedure, probably technology also in that will be easy for the children. So that's where assistive technology is playing a major role. Again, time-based alerts. Okay, even in an exam procedure, somebody may not know that how much of a time has passed. So how could we alert every 10 minutes or 15 minutes? Check with the child, how much he has finished, how much he can operate, and accordingly modify the questions also. So even in social things, this kind of an accessibility has to be encouraged now. Yeah, recently we are having some good news on this in Tamil Nadu. And since it's going to be more of an online teaching happening for at least few more months now, I thought probably our special educators, parents, and everybody who are assembled here may also looking for online platforms. I just thought that we'll give some guiding principles. Whenever you plan an online platform, ensure that it develops ease of use among the particular student or particular child who is going to learn. It could be Zoom or Google Meet or Cisco WebEx or Microsoft Teams, or probably, no, I'm not able to handle all this. I'm just going to handle WhatsApp. I'm going to handle Skype. All these platforms are accessible. Okay, the degree of accessibility alone matters. So according to the child you are going to take an online class, you may have to think upon it and choose a particular platform. Okay, how we are going to teach it. Are you going to go in a video mode, or probably I'm going to share something? And that's a style also has this kind of a mic or probably everything setting proper. Okay, otherwise most of the time goes in are you audible, or are you probably I'm not able to hear. And this is a child with almost more difficulties. He will not be much interested again to say no, do all this again. He requires somebody to support it. So setting up the platform and making it very easy, make it very easy for him to use, and then get into that. So it could be anything. It doesn't mean that you have to go with one platform. You can try out various platforms and then make a choice of it, which suits a child and his environment particularly. Then again, the expectations among the child. Actually, you may have to set an expectation this is going to be a so fascinating environment, like a tablet or a mobile phone or something like that. But if you're going to show us big pictures or do all that kind of a writing on a mobile phone and all that, child is having a mobile phone, he will find it very much difficult, particularly when he already has a low vision or something like that. Zooming and magnifying everything, probably with the learning difficulties again. So we need to avoid more of a writing content than we may have to type the content. We may have to, accordingly, the expectations of the child has to be met out in that. Then as I told you, the content has to be developed in such a way that The child can also take it after the classes and then also do something for reinforcements, or probably along with the parent, he'll be able to see it and work on it. So that way you could make the content. Okay, whatever you do, it's not only for online, it is also for offline, that way. So by this we call it in accessibility, the four principles we call it as POUR, whether the child is able to perceive what you are trying to teach, is he able to understand what you're trying to teach. Okay, then probably is he able to operate on the content. Okay, he's able to use it and work around it and all that. Okay, so probably he's able to operate on the device and then probably use the content for his learning. Okay, then is it going to be robust? Is it going to be scalable? From a concept level, you may slowly get on to the next level, abstract to the next level, and you may be asking some questions whether you have seen this in a real life scenario. Can you just take a video around you of a chemistry or science happening in your home and then send back to us? So does a medium permit all this? No scalability of your instructional methodology, scalability of the learning experience you bring in. Okay, this can also be built in your online teaching and learning. And again, finally, the self-awareness and commitment, as a teacher, what am I going to contribute? I know that there are so much things happening around the world, so much of technology, so much of educational materials, resources, and all that. Let us not be worried that I don't have much of a knowledge. I have very limited knowledge or something like that. Whatever we have, let us deliver it to the child, and let us also learn from the child, to deliver more. He may be coming up with so many ideas, and that will really unplug what to think of, and then probably you will innovate more options. Now you will go into online courses, you will go into online such. Now that's an interest. I feel that there are so many people now, I could see 178 participants here. Okay, so many people are assembled here just to find out if there is any kind of an innovative method, because some child has just ignited you in this manner to look for something. So let us have this kind of a self-awareness and the commitment for learning, and probably that reflects in our instruction procedures actually. So these principles probably will help us utilize more our online teaching and learning experiences, improve our online teaching and learning experiences. Now let me get on to the tools which are already available, particularly with us. If we happen to see almost probably majority of the computers and laptops in India are coming up with Microsoft Windows and MS Office in that. So I was just trying to show you how you could make your materials or content accessible, particularly using MS, Microsoft Word. Okay, so I'll just get on to the Word and show you a few options, okay, which are available to make your content accessible. Ma'am, please inform me, unmute and inform me if I'm overboarding the time, okay? Because I think Akila will also be waiting there. I think you're able to see my screen of Microsoft Word, right?
Yes,
So
sir.
whenever you make your content, okay, the first thing you may have to think about is the file name, how you give it. It can reflect your date and what date you are prepared, and then the name of the content, and then probably the name of the author or somebody who has done that, so that the child will be able to relate that this particular subject, this particular teacher, and this particular date it is given. It starts with the naming of the particular file like a child. And then comes these style sheets here. Okay, if you think about it, these are all the style sheets which are available. Okay, this has to be used. Okay, if you're going to give a title, there is a title here. By this, what is happening is for a child, they'll understand by the size of the font or something like that, they will understand that this is a title. And then probably subheadings and all that. I'll try to see if I can take any other. Okay. I was preparing something yesterday. I'll just show you that. It'll be easy. Yeah. You see this particular thing, like, this is a title. Okay. So this is particular. So I'm giving it as a title. What will happen? Even for a child who is using a kind of a screen reader or a software, which is like, reading all the text in the computer, or some child with learning difficulty, who would like to know whether it is a title or whether it is a heading or a subheading, your size of the font, that makes a difference. So here we see this is heading 1. So he is going much deeper. By arranging this, you can easily convert this into a electronic publication or a DAISY file, and that can be used by many children. And again, if you're going to convert it into a braille, again, it will be easy for you to convert it into a braille also. If you're going to make it like enlarge for somebody, then again, it will be easy for you. So following up the styles, okay, if you don't feel that this particular font is not always useful for me, you can always go and modify the particular font, and it can reflect in all your slides hereafter. So this is how, like, the first thing you may have to look into this is style sheets, right? So this probably, like, and again, if you see this, I'm maintaining a structure here. If you say this, like, it comes to the heading level 2 and it comes to the normal. So this way a style has to be maintained here. Okay. And again, whenever you are going to have some kind of a picture or something like that, inserting a picture or something like that, then probably you may have to give a kind of an alternative description for this. Okay, I'm just taking some picture randomly. Please bear with me. Okay, I'm just putting some kind of a screenshot or some picture here. Okay. So what you may have to do is, like, you may have to always see that, okay, if it comes to picture format and you have this alternative text. Okay. So here comes, you can describe the picture, screenshot of a computer, description automatically generated. Okay, so I could write this screenshot here, like, image of a Facebook page, or I could still more describe something. Okay, this will help somebody with a screen reader that when they come to a picture, the screen reader will read only the text and they'll be able to see this alternative text and say, consider that, like, okay, this is some kind of an image here and the teacher is trying to describe something on that. Similarly, like, you could also insert, when you insert a table, okay, I'm just, we're going to insert a table, okay. What you should do, like, probably like I'm going to insert a table like serial number and student name, and or probably class or something like that. Use tabs, okay, and then use here insert and file, convert text to table. This also facilitates in such a way that this is taken as a header and it will be read by a screen reader, and it will be easy for children to understand that this is a header and the belows are content. Okay, and always fit it to the auto fit to window so that somebody with the locomotor difficulty will not find it difficulty if it goes beyond that, and he'll be able to scroll down, like, horizontal scroll, vertical scroll. It's very difficult for somebody with muscle spasm or a cerebral palsy condition to scroll the mouse, even though probably we do have assistive technology like trackball and all that. So this will help you very easy to make a simple kind of a table and all that. Right? Let us use, like, as I told you previously, the background and all that, the contrast between the background and the front text should be minimum 70% actually. So that it becomes more visible, and you can always give borders which are like, not decorative borders, probably, like, give them as simple plain borders, okay, continuous borders. And your presentation of the text should really show them that this is something like, easy to read and consume things. And always use, like, we could use bold or probably like, a color code which is dark and background contrast. Otherwise, what will happen is, let us not use like, underline as well as bold. This will confuse the child, whether it's a link or whether, is it a kind of a subheading or something like that. Okay, let us use one kind of an attribute so that it is easy for the child to understand. Okay, these are all something which will really help the children with like reading difficulties and learning difficulties. Now, after doing all this, if you're going to do a review here, okay, we have a thing called review. Okay, so here, if you see this particular thing called review accessibility. Okay, it is available in right from MS Office, like 2013 onwards. So it will give you if there is an issue or something like that. Then accordingly you'll be able to correct it here. Okay, it will be pointing out to you where are the issues. For example, if I'm removing the alternative text here, okay, I'm not putting anything here and say that, can you see this? This is missing alternative text. If I click on that, it will go to the particular place and I'll be able to correct it now. Okay, so just so you can correct it here. Similarly, like it also like has facilities for reading it aloud. Like if you click on this, the child can read the particular content aloud. Okay, and he can even choose a voice also here in Microsoft. Okay, probably you may not be able to hear the voice. I need to enable the Zoom voice also here. So it will also read it for the child, and you can choose a voice. You can reduce the speed at the way the particular computer is reading. Okay, all that can be done. And also, like again, if you think about the other way, like for some children with reading difficulty, they don't want to read continuous lines, then probably we do have a component called immersive reader, which is available in MS Word as well as in Microsoft Edge browsers. Okay, these are all I'm talking about, the Microsoft Office 2016 or 1819 onwards and 365, which are now coming up with your new laptops and all that. Probably if somebody doesn't have that, you may have to upgrade here. Okay, this immersive reader, okay, this gives so much of opportunities for us now. See, like even in a classroom, in a visual classroom or an online classroom, you can use this for line focus so that the child is focusing on a particular line alone. Okay, so you are showing only one thing so that somebody is seeing this more focused, and for reading also, like this particular line alone can be read. And in case like you can even take it as 3 lines, you can take it as 5 lines according to the content, according to the child's ability. Okay, this could be done. And color of the page, actually some child is like having a low vision or difficult reading difficulty, then accordingly you could change the background of the color. Okay. Sorry. So this way, like this immersive reader, you can see this is just a Word, Microsoft Word. I have not taken any other extra assistive technology or anything like that. This has so many things which we have to explore that. That's it, actually. So probably like moving around for locomotor, there is a problem. Then I can also fix some kind of column width also, like here. Like if I have a bigger width, accordingly I can increase my column width, and then accordingly do the things. And suppose the child is finding it difficult to read the thing, then you can always allow him to like do the syllable reading. Okay. One second. I think this will help us. So they say that, can you see this? It goes with syllables actually. Okay. So this way, like you could also make the child read at a face, like how we can do that syllable wise. Okay. These are something you can practice even for a child from the grade 1 or something, from KG onwards. You can type something and ask it to read through syllable. Okay, all that can happen with this immersive reader. It's a very excellent tool which is available here, as well as If you have a PDF or something like that, then it is available here in Edge also, the Windows Explorer or Internet Explorer browser, okay? And you have a PDF. You are not preparing the content. If it is going to be a PDF, then here also you have this facility. Like, you can point out something, okay, for the child, okay? Then erase it. Okay, all this is available in the Internet Explorer, the latest version here, okay? Now the same capability is also available, as I told you, like here. As learning tools, this is immersive readers and all that is available here also, okay? The same thing which is available in Word, we are having here also here, okay? So if you have a PDF and all that, you can use a Internet Explorer for this purpose. And this is how a normal Word Office can be of much use as an assistive technology in your daily online or in your daily classroom routines. Okay, you're not having any other extra things. And probably if the child is not able to type, then he can dictate it also. Like now they have provided English. Okay, they're slowly. I think they are gone for Hindi now. Slowly they'll be going for other Indian languages also. Okay. So this kind of speech recognition is also possible, so that I can dictate and type it here. Okay. So these are all some facilities you can explore it. I'll just move on to the next slide for the time. Okay. So this is just in MS Word. Okay. Similarly, in Excel also, if you think about it, okay, if you go to a draw, you could just, you have an Excel, you can just highlight something. You could just draw using something and make it into a shape. Okay, so for some child who is not able to draw perfect pictures, okay, they can use this kind of a drawing tool either in Word or Excel or even in PowerPoint, so that the artificial intelligence, as Madam was pointing out, that makes a correction and that makes a perfect picture here. So this is possible here. Okay, so you could use Excel for tabulations, you could use for charts. Again, when you make charts, the accessibility thing is available in Excel also. Okay, so that we could enable it and then work on that. Okay, by this, like you are also like enhancing accessibility. Okay, you can enhance accessibility and check whether everything is accessible or add something for accessibility, all that. Okay, you could enhance the notes, everything you can do that here. Okay, so this way, like even Access has that. Probably MS Word and Excel also has this translate facility, wherein from English to Tamil or Tamil to like English, this translation facility is also there, though we may have to do some more kind of editing on that. This translation facility is also there. Okay, and you all know like spelling and all that is already available previously also. Okay, then when we come to Microsoft PowerPoint, again, like how we could make PowerPoint accessible. Particularly, I'm just taking this one slide itself. Like if you see this particular slide, okay, can you see this? Like I have used some contrast colors for the slide. First thing, okay, instead of using a shape and then typing a text, I have just used a text box here. I have not used anything like first always what I see is like they insert a shape and within that they will type it. But if you are instead of that, if I'm able to like use a text box and then type it out, then you can fill the colors, you can do all the things. But the advantage is that even a screen reader or a switch or something which is used by somebody with locomotor impairment can navigate very easily here. Okay, if you're going to do a shape and all that, it is a bit difficult. Now, like for navigation purpose, for a screen reader or somebody using a switch and other kind of assistive devices, which you're going to see that your selection pan is here. Now you may have to order it accordingly, so that the child knows that first thing is this to be read and second thing is something like the decorative thing. So probably it's a decorative thing which you can mention a decorative in an alternative text. Okay, how can you do that? Probably I'll show you that also. Can you see this in alternative text? I have marked as decorative so that it will not be, when they navigate, it will not, the screen reader or the switch or something like that, which navigates by tab or probably using arrow keys, it will not go there. It will directly get into the content instead of that. So it goes directly into the content here and then here. Okay. For each one of them, probably if you think about it, like, I have made a small alternative text also here. Okay. There are so much of, learning all these accessibility features here. It's all available in Microsoft.com. If you just say accessibility support for MS, Microsoft Word, accessibility support for PowerPoint, or accessibility support for Excel, you'll be able to see all those features which I have been telling you here, actually. Then comes a new kind of a tool called Adobe Reader Touch. Okay. As I've seen, like many of the textbooks and all that, when they say like we are giving it online for children, they do it as a PDF. It is more convenient, they feel like. So they just do it as a PDF and give you back. But you are opening the PDF online, then if you are able to download this Adobe Reader Touch, which is free for your Windows, okay, then the advantage over here is like, there are so many modes here, like, I could expand it here. Okay, for example, I can just say here, okay, I can even make a find and show the particular child what I am trying to say. Okay, say like puzzle. Okay, tab I'm not using my mouse at all. Okay, the particular word goes here. So this for the child, if you are able to practice that, they'll be able to practice at the home also. Okay, I could navigate just using the next button here for locomotor impairment. Okay, now in the classroom, like, you are trying to show some kind of, highlighted text or something like that, then you can use these comments here. Okay, you could always say like, this is what you are teaching now. Okay, so then you can even make it bigger, like, using plus or control plus. Okay, and show to the child accordingly. Okay, and similarly, like, you want to strike through, so say not to use this or something like that. Okay, then you can use the slide through. Okay, you want to underline, you can do that. You want to give some additional input. Okay, then you can give a sticky note here for the child. Okay, all that can be done here. It's just on a PDF in an accessible mode. A child with visual impairment, a child with locomotor or hearing impairment, everybody can be, it's more accessible. Everybody will be able to use this particular thing. So this PDF, whenever you have PDF, you can either use this Acrobat Reader Touch or probably the Microsoft Edge, which I showed you previously, the Internet Explorer stuff. Okay, and let us go into more. Then again, you have so much of documents or something like that in PDF. You want to convert that into text. Then Google Drive OCR, like just upload it into the drive and probably save it and then convert it, using Google Docs. Just say open with Google Docs. It does a OCR, optical character recognition, and you'll be able to convert anything in like, scanned PDF or whatever be that. You could convert English to English text or Tamil to Tamil text or Hindi to Hindi text. Any language for Indian language, now Google has come up with the OCR stuff. You'll be able to convert that into a document. And then you can use MS Word to modify the structures and everything in a more accessible way and then give it to the child. That is possible now. And in case you are showing some websites and all that, okay, it has so many advertisements and all that, but it is not good for a child to see all the advertisements and get it distracted. Or even in an educational site also, they put up some banners and all that. Then this particular tool called InstaWeb, okay, InstaWeb, InstaWeb. It gives you it's an app actually. You can even use it in a tablet or a mobile, Android mobile. It gives a clean content. Okay, it will remove all that other extra fitting and then just give you a clean content. Okay, that will make the child easy to read and consume that. Okay, other than that, we do have apps like Simply Reading or Easy Reader, Accessible Reader. These are all some apps which read EPUB in a more accessible way. You have facilities to magnify, you have facility to read aloud in the mother tongue or any language. Okay, Easy Reader and Simply Reading they use for English. Okay, probably Google has now come up with text to speech, for Indian languages also. We have it for Tamil, Hindi, and other languages, Bangla, I believe. So you can use this kind of a reader so that the text which is given as an EPUB, after we convert that from the Microsoft Word into EPUB, then you can make children to read at your home also. And in case you want that particular PDF files to be converted into an audio, just if you plain audio and read it as an audio, then you have this Insta Reader app now, which is developed by a volunteer. Okay. In case you want to build in more of a child with this dyslexia, he wants to know the spellings, you want to have some kind of references for that and all that, then we do have this Madras Dyslexia Association and Invention Labs given app called Avaz Reader. Okay, this is again another app. Okay, but I think this is a paid app. Rest of the things are all free apps. Okay, ID Pro is again another app which could convert PDF and read it for you also. Okay, about reading, as I told you, this is about the Edge browser or a Internet Explorer browser which is used in Windows 10. Okay, that gives you any kind of a book which is available. It can be a CBSE book or Tamil Nadu textbook and all that is available as a PDF. That can be given as a kind of can be read through Edge Immersive Reader, and you can do all the text spacing, background color, size, read aloud, okay, everything in the browser itself. If you don't have MS Word, if you don't have Excel, if you don't have any other application, just Windows alone, okay, and you have this Microsoft Edge, which is a free browser, you can use this particular thing. Then with all that, like Windows also has, if you can make a note of it, probably, I'm not sure like how much of a time I have, another 10 minutes, I believe. So just check out this ease of access settings. Okay, we have a kind of a small screen reader which is built within the Microsoft Windows, and we have a magnifier. Okay, for example, like just pressing a kind of a two keys like Windows plus, then I'll be able to magnify the screen to any point. I'll be able to magnify to any point. Okay, and I'll be able to reduce it to any point. By this, like when an online window or something like that, the child says that I'm not able to see that, then you'll be able to magnify this very easily. Probably in a mobile, you can pinch and do all the magnification, but I'm talking about in the laptop. Okay. A similar way, like, you can also make a high contrast, color contrast thing, right? I can just make this particular screen in a mode like, black and white mode. Okay. So that a child with low vision, or probably a child with cerebral palsy who has a visual processing problem, okay, they can see all this in a black and white mode now. Okay, this is for some child who may not be interested in much of a color. Okay, then they can use this. There's so many applications I have opened. I think it's taking some more time. Okay. Can you see this whole thing has become black and white? This is a press, like Shift Alt and print screen. That's it. You convert the whole screen back. So according to the child, according to the child's requirement, there are something which is built within Windows itself. You don't have to look for anything outside, actually. And similarly, like if the child finds the keyboard, he's not able to use the keyboard properly, like he has some muscle spasm and all that. For example, to copy and paste, we use Control C, Control V, but the child is not able to hold Control and C, Control and V because of the muscle spasm or movement difficulty in the fingers. There are keys in ease of access called sticky keys,
wait for. Dear participants, please wait for 5 minutes due to technical issue. There is a small break. Sir will join in 2 minutes.
Ma'am, I'm here. Can you please enable screen sharing for me, ma'am? Thank you.
We have enabled, sir. We have enabled.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Everybody able to see my screen now? Again?
Yes, sir. It is visible, sir.
Okay, fine. Thank you. So again, sorry for the interruption. Like, too many applications I opened and my laptop crashed down Zoom. Okay, sorry for it. So again, in the mobile also we have so many accessibility settings here, like touch and hold delay. If you think about it, for somebody with again muscle spasm, they can touch and hold for some time and then operate. Okay, you can just explore all this. Just get into settings and then get into accessibility. You can explore all these options. It is both available in iPhone as well as Android phones, Windows also. Now, when I come to classroom routines, like there are so many tools which will facilitate even in an online or an offline mode. Like, for example, they're taking notes, a writing guide, which is like kind of a slitted paper or cardboard that will enable children to write within their lines. or more focused writing, and hand grips which can be made out of rubber band or any kind of toys or Fevicol or dough and all that according to the child's requirement. Okay. And in case the child is having a visual impairment and he knows Braille, then he can use this take note. Take note is a simple device which has 6 keys of Braille and spacebar and tab. After taking notes, this can be connected to a computer or a mobile, and the notes can be transferred to that. Okay, and then read from that. Okay, using a screen reader or probably magnifying it and all that. Then we do have, like, when you connect to a computer, like children with locomotor impairment, particularly cerebral palsy, they have difficulties in operating a regular mouse. So we do have trackball mouse or switch, as we call it. Like, it goes through a scanning mode. The child has to just select something, like a right click of a left click of a mouse. This is also possible. And there are Braille note takers wherein I can take notes. I can again converse with people using a Braille note taker by connecting to a mobile and all that. As I told you, like the screen reader and Google Talkback, which enables text to read, that is also available, which can all be implemented in a classroom, particularly for typing alone, for writing purposes. I told you, for examinations or probably for class type notes, Google input tools which can be implemented in the laptop or the touch screen with the stylus, or probably there are word prediction, like Gboard is a mobile app, a typing app, wherein you can use either gestures or you can just swipe on the keyboard and accordingly the words will be typed, or probably it gives you one particular letter and all the predictions, as you see in WhatsApp and everywhere. There are adapted keyboards are also available. A smaller keyboard of just a palm size is also available, and a color-coded keyboard is also available. And for a child with autism or something, there are a rugged keyboard also available, so that even at tantrums, if they hit it, the keyboard won't go off. Okay, that way. And there are apps called live transcribe or speech notes, which I can speak to the computer and get it typed. For some child with more of a cerebral palsy and other conditions, they may want to speak it out than typing it out. So all these are useful in the note-taking process and in writing. Okay. Similarly, for communication, my friend Akila will be handling this more. I'm just giving you some apps which are available. A basic communication chart can be always available with a child with either hearing impairment or children with non-verbal conditions of autism or cerebral palsy, so that they'll be able to easily communicate wherever they go. Okay. Simple daily usage structures can be there, or a simple text mobile, so that like the messages can be stored and they have to just select the message and just show them, this is what I want to convey you. Okay, so that way a simple text message can also be used, or video calling or anything in the WhatsApp mode. Okay, other than that, there are specific apps also. If you take Kavi PTS, wherein in Indian languages also you can store some text and the child can touch and show for a communication, and it speaks also. The child can produce some gestures, in a manner, as in case of iGest is a small watch-like thing which I can put in my hand, and when I move my hand forward, backward, or leftward, accordingly a word is spoken or a sentence is spoken, which I can record it previously, or the word can be displayed on a mobile or something like that. And there are apps like Avas, Jello Plus, and all that. We call it as AAC, augmented, alternative communication apps, which can be installed in your Android mobiles. Okay, by which the child can, communicate as people are, in the classroom and anywhere, and accordingly it can speak out for them. The child can either use a text or the child can use a picture, for his own understanding, and accordingly use this kind of a communication particularly. Then there are also, as Madam was pointing it out, Disha is slowly, coming up more and more accessible now. There are more and more content being uploaded, but again, these are left to all teachers assembled here and everywhere. As I told you, like, whenever we create content, for example, you could create even on a PowerPoint, okay, there is an option called Save as MP4. So you could create a nice accessible PPT and then probably save as MP4, so that you create a video from that. Okay. Then probably Google takes it, and probably Akila will also tell you about the closed captioning and all the other options available, particularly to make an accessible video. So from a PowerPoint, your content can be made. You can make it an interactive content in a PowerPoint also by giving links and all that between the slides, so that it can be used for online teaching methodologies. And for do it yourself, like, we call this DIY, do it yourself, experiments at home itself, encouraging children to have more time at home, and probably now they are at home. Science concepts, math concepts, and all that. If you want to have ideas, then you can go to this Toys from Trash from Dr. Arvind Gupta, which gives you so much of concept level applications or experiments which can be done at home. Okay, and if they are going to be higher level classes, like from the secondary level and all that, there are simulations available, experiment simulations for physics, chemistry, or maths, and all that. Okay, it is available for CBSE in OLabs. It is again an app which is available in Android mobile or in from computers or laptop. In the browser, you can type Online Labs India. Okay, or probably there is one another from America called PET, like PSET. This is again it's also like, Indian teachers are also contributing to convert that into our own languages. There's so many science, biology, chemistry kind of experiments. There are virtual labs being conducted, now created in IIT Mumbai has started working on it. And similarly, there are virtual reality, augmented reality now coming up. You must have seen preview, sometime back, like Google came up with, the animals which is coming in 3D thing. And Google also has a kind of a augmented reality core. That's a kind of a software kind of a core code by which you can if you have any developers or volunteers who want to do some kind of development for you, they can use this augmented reality core and they can develop you augmented reality solutions for science, biology, or chemistry. You can use that. Okay, so yourself, according to your own content and all that, you will be able to create virtual reality applications, as you see this particular picture. Okay, as I show you, like, this mouse pointer and all that can also be accordingly modified. The keyboards can be modified. So much is available. Probably we'll also take questions in the question hour. I want to give my time to probably, like, since I think Dr. Akila is also waiting. So we'll continue in the question hour more. Okay. So thank you all. Probably, any kind of questions are welcome. Probably we'll take it at the last 15 minutes after Akila finishes off our session. Thank you. Thank you all for the opportunity.
Thank you so much, sir, for your extensive and exhaustive.
Doubts, you can give me a WhatsApp message or you can write to me or an email. Okay, through Twitter. I'll be able to answer you back. Thank you, ma'am.
Okay, sir. So thank you so much, sir, for your exhaustive presentation, which enriched all our knowledge about assistive technology, and particularly your demonstration about usage of all the tools, right from the Word tool to Excel sheet and PPT presentation for the children with special needs, accessible needs. Thank you so much, sir, for your presentation. And please stay with us, sir, for the question answer session. I have put in the chat box also. Sure. So we will have a question answer session after the technical session too. Thank you, sir. Thank you so much.
Sure. Thank you.
So now the technical session 2. Upon the low-cost assistive technology solution for education, which will be handled by Dr. Akila Surendran. Madam is a senior engineer in the Center for Assistive Technology and Innovation at National Institute for Speech and Hearing, Trivandrum, Kerala. Madam has completed her BTech in Industrial Biotechnology in Anna University and PhD in Computational and Systems Biology from Singapore MIT Alliance Program in NUS. She has been in Center for Assistive Technology from its inception since 2015 and played an important role in expanding the functions of the center in different areas. And Madam has encouraged assistive technology ecosystem in India and part of it. As an AT specialist, she works directly with persons with a disability along with an interdisciplinary team of rehabilitation professionals at NISH to identify the most suitable technology for the persons and implement it successfully. Madam, I welcome you on behalf of Department of Education, Mother Teresa Women's University, to this webinar on assistive technology in educating children with special needs. Hearty welcome from our university side, ma'am. Over to you, ma'am, for your presentation.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am, we can hear you.
Can you see my screen also?
Yes, ma'am. Screen is also visible.
So thanks a lot for this opportunity to Dr. Renuga Devi. And like even during the pandemic times, we are being very productive. And I think we are even being more productive thanks to technology. Like Shankar addressed most of the points in the previous session. So I will try not to be repetitive, and please post your questions if you have any in the chat box. Tell me if I'm not clear or anything. Okay. So I'll just jump right into the session. Yeah, so I work like how Dr. Renuga introduced me. I work in the Center for Assistive Technology and Innovation at the National Institute for Speech and Hearing. Assistive technology is any item, piece of equipment or software or anything that is used to increase, maintain, or improve the functional capabilities of persons with disabilities. And this device, it shouldn't be like it works only in one place, like it's used only in school or it's used only in home. If a person has a device, it has to support that person in a variety of environments. And it has to help the person to engage in meaningful activities, like for example, for socializing, to entertain him or her, or for learning, like that. And it should give maximized independence. So as much as possible, the person by himself or herself should be able to set it up and use it and start using it. So as Shankar said in his talk about that assistive technology can be anything from low technology to high technology. So here are some examples. Like in the left side under low tech, you see a kid using a normal sponge ball for with the pencil or a pen. You can insert it, and if the person is not able to grip a pencil or pen directly, using an adapted gripper like that. Even a magnifier, that's an assistive technology too, right? And something that's a more medium level technology is a smart cane, where this is available. It's manufactured by, it was developed by IIT Delhi, and it's being distributed under ADIB scheme, smart canes. So where the device, the cane will vibrate upon detecting obstacles. And then it can also be really high tech, like we now exoskeletons are already in the market in developed countries, where just with a little exertion from your part, you can actually control your movements, even if if you can't control your limbs. So, and AT can be universal design, or it can be highly specialized. Universal design meaning, for example, your smartphone, using the accessibility features on your smartphone. So all of you have a phone in your hand, right? If you go to settings, and you would have accessibility settings there. So you can see that you have Can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, we are able to hear.
Yeah, there's some, why was the interruption there? Should I continue?
Yes, ma'am, you can continue, ma'am.
Okay. So a phone is a universal design device because you can modify the features and use the same device for a variety people with any kind of ability. So you have the talkback feature, where the text on the phone can be read out, is converted to voice, and hence a person with visual impairment can use it. You have now automatic captioning, and a person with hearing impairment can look at subtitles, and there's vibration. So even if he can't hear the phone ringing, it can vibrate. And for a person with motor impairment, even if he can't touch use the screen directly by touching with his fingers, there are so many devices for accessing the touch screen devices. And you have switch control through which you can add these devices, and then you can navigate through the screen. So a phone is a very good example of a universal design device. And you have all kinds of apps now. So a lot of assistive technology come in app forms. So you don't really need to buy a separate device for everything. Everything is already there in your phone these days. Or AT can be very highly specialized, where it has to be manufactured or customized for one particular person according to their dimensions. So AT can be wide ranging like that. So what do we do in our center? So in our center, the most important thing is observing the person who needs the assistive technology solution, assessing them completely, understanding the person's needs, and then looking for solutions. So some solutions, a lot of solutions are already there in the market, either as low cost tools or free tools also online, or low cost that you can purchase off Amazon, or you can place an order, or you can make a lot of these solutions by yourself. So I will show some examples of that also. Using simple things available in your neighborhood stores, hardware stores, or even using digital fabrication. If you have some engineering interest, there are 3D printers, right? 3D printers, CNC machines, where you can design whatever you want in your computer, and then you can go to these machines, and these machines will make this product for you. You need to just upload the design to the computer, and then the machine will make these devices for you, and you just need to assemble it and use it. So then you are personally manufacturing it for yourself according to your own dimensions. So I will show you some examples of that also. So after looking for solutions and matching the person with the right solution, that is a very critical step. After that, you have to demonstrate this to the person. You have to give him or her enough time to try it out and get their feedback and see if that is the right technology or if you need to change it. So it is a very iterative process. You need to keep looking. If the previous solution didn't work well, you have to look for another solution. So only after a lot of cycles you can get the right solution. And then we help them to, if it's available in the market, we help them to procure it, and we help them with the training part. We train them how to use it. And then a very important thing that I want to highlight is we have a lending library. So in case the person wants to try something before buying it, rather than investing on something and then finding out that it's not useful. So AT has a high abandonment rate, assistive technology. So more than 90% of the devices are abandoned by the user. But that same device could be useful to somebody else, just because the right device was not fitted with the right person. The matching didn't occur properly. So a lending library is a very good solution for this. The person gets to try all kinds of solutions, and then he can decide which one to buy for himself or herself. So we help with the implementation part also. So you might, from what we are talking, what Shankar spoke and what I've spoken, you might have already understood that just having the technology is not the end of it all. Implementation, implementing it in the right way is what matters most. So almost all, a lot of technologies are already available. What is lacking now is awareness and the right support for implementation, training and follow-up and so on. So because awareness and training is very important, we also do a lot of those kind of sessions like what I'm doing right now. It's a part of our awareness program. We do it for AT users who are persons with disability. We do it for their caregivers. We do it for rehabilitation professionals also. So for example, like speech language pathologist, physiotherapist, occupational therapist, we do awareness and training programs about the devices available in the market for them also. So we have the certificate course in AT solutions. We had a very successful run last year. And we are now creating the next program to be online fully. So last time we all assembled at NISH or NIPMR, another institute, and we had classes. But this time, because of the pandemic, we have to update it to an online course. So you're all welcome to check that link. I will, when it's ready, I'll be circulating it. And in this course, the entry level is just a graduate degree. So anyone, if you with a graduate degree who has an interest in AT solutions, in implementing it, can join this program. And then we also help with catalyzing R&D, research and development and manufacture of indigenous devices. I'm sorry, that was my kid. Yeah. So we help, there are so many startups who want to develop AT devices. So we give them the support to on the user side. So first they have to understand the persons with disability before manufacturing anything for them. So we help them to bridge the gap between the user and the technology. We help with student projects, students who are engineering college students who work on developing AT products. Like that. So, and then we also try to develop a collaborative platform. So we had a conference sometime back, and then this course where we try to bring all stakeholders in the assistive technology domain together. Because right now there is no link between the people who develop AT, people who manufacture AT, people who implement AT, like the rehab professionals, special educators, even mainstream teachers who might have a student with disability in their classroom. So all these people need to come on one platform and interact, collaborate to discuss the problems and then solve it together. So we try to create a platform and events to foster this collaboration. Moving on to some examples of assistive technology for persons who are deaf or hard of hearing, because that is the main population we have at our institute at NISH. So I will show you some examples of the kinds of technologies that are available and that we have been using at NISH. So automatic captioning. So for a deaf person, for example, if you want to communicate with a person who is deaf or hard of hearing, as you can see in this image, in your keyboard, in your phone keyboard, you can activate this microphone symbol by going to settings. You can turn it on in any language. So now Google has made it available in so many Indian languages also. So, so once you hold this microphone key, in any app, you can open WhatsApp or even in a note-taking app or even in Mailbox or Google Docs, anything. Wherever you can open a keyboard, you can open this microphone also. And then you long press this microphone, then you can start talking and that will convert into text form. So now if you want to immediately talk to communicate with a person who's hard of hearing near you, you can just click on this microphone button and record into it, and the text will appear, and then the person can type the reply back. So that's very easy communication. And or if the user, if there is a student with a hearing impairment and the student wants to listen to what's going on in the classroom, and the classroom, there is no sign language interpreter, or there is no captioning that the teacher has facilitated, the student himself can download this live transcribe app. So Google has collaborated with Gallaudet University, which is in Washington. It's the leading university in the world for persons who are deaf. So they have developed this app along with Gallaudet University to really fine tune it for the needs for people who are deaf. So you can download this app from the App Store, and it and once you turn it on, whoever is speaking next to you, you can see it in your phone as text in any language, again in Tamil or Malayalam or Hindi or English. And this accuracy, I think, is even more, the noise cancellation in this app is better than what you would see in other note-taking apps. And at NISH, we do something called real-time transcription service. So actually, this is available even in Zoom. I was suggesting this morning to Dr. Renuga, maybe it was too late to implement. So what happens there is, sometimes this transcription, nowadays this automatic transcription is getting much better, like more than 80% accuracy. But sometimes this transcription may not be so accurate. And if it goes wrong, then the person who's depending on the transcription to understand might misunderstand everything, and it might lead to very wrong consequences. So at NISH, because our majority population is persons with hearing impairment, to be on the safer side, we do manual transcription. What we do is we open a Google Doc. I can show you an example of this, of what we have done before. So a Google Doc was opened at one fire safety meeting. And this is the speaker, Mr. Sajid, station master. And whatever he spoke was typed in by one person who's doing RTTS. So this can be one person, or it can be a team of people, maybe 2 or 3 people. So one person has to keep typing it really fast. And if he makes any mistakes, the following person will keep editing the mistakes. So how you share this is in Google Docs. You have this permissions, right? So you can be a viewer, you can be an editor. So the people who are transcribing, who are typing in what's happening, will be editors, and the other people will only be viewers. So then this document can both, you can either, if you have a projector, it can be projected on the screen, or it can be shared, the link can be shared with view permission to the students. So the students can see the live transcription appearing on their own devices. If they need to have the Google Doc app, which is available for free in Play Store. So as the person is speaking, they will see a sort of subtitle. So this is the manual subtitling, live subtitling. It's going to appear in their own phones. So this we do at NISH. But as automatic captioning gets better and better, maybe there'll not be a need for this kind of manual transcription. But right now, this seems to be the most effective way, error-free way. And then there's the FM system, which we use at NISH. So this is a device where the student is wearing who's using hearing aids, is wearing this FM receiver. And this is paired with this microphone, FM microphone, with which the teacher is wearing around her neck. So whatever the teacher speaks, even if the teacher is at a distance of up to 15 meters, the student can hear it really clearly directly in his hearing aid. So through FM, the sound is transmitted directly to the hearing aid without any noise. So if there are any hearing aid users in this webinar, you might understand how difficult it is to focus on the voice in a crowded area, or even a fan noise is disturbing, or if too many people are talking, if it's an interactive session, you have to take turns to talk. If too many people are talking at the same time, it can be very confusing for the person who is using a hearing aid. So FM system can help a lot in such a classroom scenario. The downside is, again, it is very expensive right now. And probably if schools or institutes are interested to make their classrooms more accessible, they can purchase the FM system and make it available for students to borrow and use it in during their classroom. And then for people who are using sign language, this video call is really a blessing for them, right? So now they don't need to have a sign language interpreter near them, physically next to them. Even if the interpreter is somewhere else, maybe several in a different state, in a different country, they can still come on video call and say the person is going to a doctor. How does the person who's using sign language interact with the doctor? So the interpreter will be available on a video call, and the sign language user will tell the interpreter what they want to communicate to the doctor in sign language, and the interpreter will voice it to the doctor, and vice versa. So doctor will tell tell the message, and the sign language interpreter will convert it to sign language for the deaf person. So this is a actual human being who's on video call on the other side. And if you, Shankar was talking about making documents accessible, right? So if it's a person with hearing impairment, the focus is more on how to making videos accessible. So how do you add subtitles in a YouTube video? YouTube has automatic captioning itself, which is, if your English is really good, the automatic captioning works great. If it's very clear audio, automatic captioning itself works great. Otherwise, you can, so you need to go to YouTube Studio. I'll show you how to go there. So this is my YouTube account, and I have opened my YouTube Studio. So let me open it. If you look at, after opening YouTube, if you click on your icon by the side, you will find YouTube Studio here. Right now I've already opened it, so it's not listed here. So once it opens, you go down here and there is a subtitle. There are a lot of options here, and subtitles is one of that. So after clicking subtitles, you choose which video you want to add. So your video should already be uploaded here. So you choose the video where you want to add subtitles, and then you click on that. Let me choose a new video because this already has subtitles. Yeah. No, this also already has subtitles. Okay, so anyways, there are different ways to create YouTube subtitles. So this is one way where you can, as the person, you can play the video here, and then you can type anything here, and you press enter, and then the timings are here. So you can either, if you want the subtitle to be displayed longer, you widen this box, and you can move this box around depending on which part of the video you want the subtitle to appear. So you can keep pressing here and pressing enter. It's very fast. It's very convenient. And after you finish, you just save the changes, and now your video will have subtitles. It's as simple as that. So you can do this using YouTube, or there is also there's also another platform called Amara, so which is also really easy to add subtitles in any language. You can add subtitles in Malayalam, in Tamil, in Hindi, in any language. And so in this morning, what I was telling Dr. Renuka Devi was, what I was suggesting to her was, I don't think Zoom has live captioning. Like what I'm talking now, you don't see subtitles, right? But what you could do is, one of the participants in this meeting could be given the control to add subtitles. So the person will basically be doing real-time transcription service within Zoom. Instead of using Google Docs, within Zoom itself, you have that option. So as I'm speaking, one person will be the transcriber and typing out what I'm speaking, and that will appear like a subtitle on the screen. Google Meet does it automatically. So for example, this is the Google Meet app in a phone, and as the person speaks, the person's name and what they are speaking is automatically displayed there. So this, especially during these times, when classrooms are made online, this is a very useful feature. You just need to turn on the captioning. So it's here at the bottom in a Google Meet page, you can turn on captions. And something else that is very easy to make a study material deaf friendly is QR codes. So for example, I will show you this comprehension passage. This has a lot of difficult words, and if you have any basic understanding of a person who is hearing impaired, their main difficulty is language, right? So difficult words can be really, if they haven't had the right early intervention, it can be very difficult for them. So for example, what is the meaning of the word, maybe, what word do I have here? yeah, maybe the word unfamiliar. Maybe they're reading this passage, they don't understand the word unfamiliar. So the teacher in advance could prepare a glossary like this, where they can simplify and add synonyms, because if the person is going to go and search for the meaning of unfamiliar in a dictionary, the dictionary explanation is also difficult for a person with hearing impairment who hasn't had early intervention to understand. So people who are working with who have worked with students who are deaf would understand that. So you have to make it really simple, not make the meaning really simple. So what you can also do is add video explanation. So for example, here for the word unfamiliar, I have what I have done is the sign language term is available for familiar. It is not available for unfamiliar. So what I have done, I've written that unfamiliar, the opposite of unfamiliar is familiar, and then I've added the sign language term for familiar. So clicking on this link, it goes to this website video where the person is telling what is the sign for familiar. So this is a website called spreadthesign.com. I'll show it to you now. So teachers can use this freely. Here, any term, for example, I want to know the meaning of knowledge. Any term, you have it in so many sign languages around the world, from UK, US, France, Germany, and India would also be here. Indian flag, where is it? Okay, this particular word doesn't have Indian sign language. So this is a process that there are teams from all over the world collaboratively doing this, and people they're still adding. So the Indian team hasn't yet added this. Maybe I'll add a different word here. Perception is all, yeah, here. So this is the meaning in Indian Sign Language for perception. So now what you can do is you can right click it, copy video address, and go and add it to your document. And what if you are printing this and giving it? If it's an online document, the student can click this and see the video. What if the teacher is taking, it's in a book, maybe this page is in a book, then you can what you can do is generate a QR code. So generating QR code is very, very easy. So there are a lot of websites for this. Even apps can be used to generate a QR code. You just open one, you paste the link, and you get, this is the QR code for that website. So now you can copy this QR code and go and paste it in your document. And now if the student is having a QR code scanner in their phone, they can scan this and that will go to the video, the sign language video. So this QR code can be a sign language video. It can be some other video explanation. Maybe YouTube has a good video explanation of the concept you're trying to explain in your book, or it can be a picture. So maybe a picture explanation is always better for visual learners, right? So not only for persons with hearing impairment, persons with learning disabilities also can use this. And I've also seen instances where even for persons with visual impairment, when you're printing this out, if you just have one raised dot here using a pin or something, you can create a raised dot here so that the person with visual impairment knows where the QR code is located. And once they scan it, they get the audio message. So that can also be done. So QR codes are really versatile. They are free. You can use them readily for a lot of, in a lot of different ways. Then what we use is, this needs to go off. How do I get rid of this? Yeah. For classroom collaboration, what we have tried at Niche is WhatsApp Web. I think you might be knowing, many of you might be knowing WhatsApp web. So I'll just open a screen to give an example. Web.whatsapp.com. So this opens WhatsApp in my computer. Yeah, so this is my WhatsApp screen. Okay, so now I have opened it in my laptop itself. So if you have a projector in your class, so here we have created, we had created a group with one class. So all the class students, they have been added to this group, and this screen is projected on, is being projected in the classroom. And when the teacher asks some question, the students can post the answers at the same time. And all that is displayed on the screen. And then the teacher can go over each answer and discuss it in front of the class for everybody. So each student is able to see each other's answer. So the teacher doesn't need to interact individually with each student and go to their place, see it. This is, if you have handled a class in sign language, you would know how useful this feature is, because sign language is always, a teacher can't process answers from 2 or 3 students. Like if 2 or 3 students speak out an answer at the same time, teacher can process it. But if they are using sign language, teacher can only see one student at a time. So to make the interactive session faster, WhatsApp web is really useful. So students can post their questions here. If they have any doubt, they can ping in between, and they can have discussions amongst themselves. And in case of sign language users, note taking is really difficult for them during a classroom, because they are seeing the teacher and they can't look down at their notebook and write at the same time. Okay, because they are visually concentrating on the teacher, they can't look and take notes at the same time. So usually our students end up not taking notes, and then when they go home, they don't have any notes to remember what happened at the classroom. And then during exam time, for revising, it becomes really hard. But if you're using WhatsApp web, everything is documented in this, right, in the WhatsApp platform. So when you later, they can retrieve it to revise what were the mistakes and all that, and the discussion, everything. So that is very useful. And we also use something called Kahoot. Maybe many of you might be knowing it. So Kahoot is, how do I go there? Yeah. So here the teacher can create quizzes, and these are teacher can create quizzes using Kahoot, and these are displayed on the projector screen in a very interactive, it's a game-based, in a very game-based approach. So what the students need to, from each of their device, they need to log into that quiz. So the passcode is given on the screen. When they enter the passcode, everyone is inside the quiz platform, and the options appear on the student's device, and the question appears on the screen. The student can click the answer. So this is a very visually engaging platform that's very useful for deaf students. So we actually did a study on this. Students earlier, when we took a poll, what kind of activities they like in classroom. Usually they hate tests, assessments, quizzes and all that. But when using Kahoot, they actually liked assessments and tests the most. Use of a technology actually changed the students' attitude towards something which they earlier thought was not preferred by them. Yeah, then Shankar already told about these 2 apps for AAC. I'll just like to reinforce that, because this is something that needs a lot of awareness. So if a person is unable to communicate using speech, that's not the only option, right? There are so many other ways to communicate. Sign language is one option. Through writing is an option, and these are through symbols. So if the person has other additional challenges in addition to not being able to speak, if they have some challenges in intellect also, AAC is communicating using symbols. So here, for example, the word want is represented in different symbols. So there are different symbol systems in the world, and you can choose which one is suitable for you. Some of them are freely available. Some of them you have to pay and get the symbols. To use the symbols, you can print them out in charts. So you will need the help of the teacher will need the help of a speech and language therapist to implement AAC. So once the teacher has had training to use this, they can do it directly, or they will need the support of an SLP to do this. So if the child has, in addition to communication impairment, if they also have physical impairment, first the child has to be positioned properly. So with the help of a physiotherapist and occupational therapist. So it's really an interdisciplinary team that has to work on it. So if you are a special education teacher, I think there are a lot of special ed teachers here. Don't think you are all alone and you have to do everything. You need to have the support of all these professionals to find the right technology support for the child. So first the child has to be positioned properly, and only then the communication device or tool can be used successfully by the child. Even for eating or drinking water, the child has to be positioned properly. So chairs, we also at CATI, we also make chairs. We are trying to make the perfect adaptive chair for children with multiple disabilities, so that they can be positioned properly, and the device that they're using is also positioned properly for them to use. So if they have to use any app on a mobile phone or on a laptop, they have to use a software. It has to be placed properly in front of them, so that they can, if they can't use it properly, they are not going to use the technology. So all these tools are available, but if these very important steps are not done, you are going to end up in a failure. It's not going to be used by the end user. So this is one example of some low-tech AAC devices. So this is a Big Mac. So right now, these are all imported only. Okay, we don't have indigenous, but we are working with students and startups to encourage them to make these devices indigenously. So here you see the symbol there. You press the button, you can hear the voice. So the voice is recorded by the parent or by the therapist or by the teacher. So for example, the person presses this red button, which is very easy to press. So that is the main thing about this device. It's very, even with a slight effort, the device is activated, and you hear clap your hands, the teacher speaks in any language. It can be the person's mother tongue or in English, and it can be I want water, and that symbol can be there. So here you have so many symbols, right? You have a symbol for eating, for drinking. So if the person wants water, they just click on that particular button and you get the voice message and you fulfill that person's needs. So the person is becoming very independent here in communicating their own needs. And once these are entry-level devices, so in the beginning itself, you can't go and give very advanced devices to beginners in AAC. So you start with simple devices like this, and once the user gets very familiar with the system, you can also start with, if you don't have these devices, you can start with just printing out these things on a paper. So here, this is a communication board. I want to go to bed, to sit up, to lay down, lower the AC temperature, rise it. I want to go to the bathroom, put me on the wheelchair. I want water to drink. I want to eat. So anything that they want to communicate, if you even have a communication chart printed out that the person can point to, or if the person is not able to use any part of the body but just move their eyes, even then they can communicate. So this is a communication board, eye gaze communication board, where the person is holding this, and depending on where the user is looking at, so if the person with disability is looking at this side, you will know that this is the message that the person wants to communicate. Or if they're looking here, this is the message. And you can make this even easier by attaching, I can show you. Oops, sorry. No. So like you can have a laser pointer on top of the head, and the person can show point to where which message the person is wishing to convey. And then once a person understands the system better, there are so many apps freely. So Kavi is freely available. This was developed in IIT Madras. Ours is developed by an IIT Madras alumni, and this is now popularly being used worldwide. This is a paid app. It's low cost only, not much, because it's a one-time lifetime investment, right? So you can purchase Avas or you can download Kavi for free, and you can add anything, any image. You can add the image also. You can add the voice also. And once a person presses that particular icon, the voice is generated. Yeah, then there are so many switches available abroad, but now in India, what we have right now commercially is IIT Madras. They have been developing, Professor Anil Prabhakar's lab has been developing a lot of devices. They are now selling it under the Enability Foundation. If you Google for Enability Foundation, you will get there, and these are very cheap. So now we are lucky to have these for cheap. So together, these two switches cost around 1,000 rupees, and this is a non-contact switch. It's available for 1,000 rupees. So what this does it, you connect this switch to a phone or to a computer, and then you activate something called a scanning mode. So scanning mode is where so there will be a blue box that will appear on the screen, and it will go over each line, each option on your phone or on your laptop screen. And when it comes to the option that you want to press, you click on the switch, and then that you go into that option. Or there are also other kind of scanning where the whole screen is divided into grids, and the grids are the scanning box goes over each row by row. And when it comes to the row that you want, then it goes column by column. Then it comes to the square that you want, you click the switch. So the clicking can be either placed between this switch can be placed between fingers. This switch can be held in your palm and pressed to activate. And this is actually a non-contact switch. The person just needs to wave in front of the switch and the switch is activated. So essentially, even if the person is having very little movement in any part of the body, these can be placed in any part, near any part of the body. This can be placed near the head also, if it's mounted properly, if the person is sitting properly positioned, and if this is mounted properly, just by moving, shaking their head or waving it closer to this device can activate. So any person with any kind of ability can now operate any device, a smart device, a phone or a laptop or a computer. Yeah, and in our AT course, we have Professor Teresa Wilcom. She's working in the University of New Hampshire. So her specialty is making low-cost items by ourselves for assistive technology solutions. So these are some items that that she uses. Instamorph. So this is available in a website called ThinkBits. We can order. It's purchase it for 500 rupees or something. And so you can make a lot of things using this Instamorph. It's basically like a clay. So you put it in hot water, and then it becomes a moldable form, and you can mold it into any shape. So here she is making. Here she's making an adaptive spoon holder. So for a kid who can't use a normal spoon, she has molded this into an adaptive spoon. She has just put the Instamorph over it, and it will get hardened, and it will become like a plastic, very hard plastic there. And if you want to reshape it, you can just put it back into hot water. It will again become like clay in a moldable form, and you can again reshape it. So the thing here is this can be done by a parent or the person with disability by themselves, according to their own hand dimensions. Then she uses this corrugated plastic, which is also available ordinarily in stores, hardware stores, to make a lot of things. So here she has used this corrugated plastic board to make an adaptive scissors. So for a child who can't use a regular scissors, she has used Instamorph to around the handles, and now the child can just press it a little bit and cut any piece of paper. you can be innovative and you do a lot of things. There are a lot of YouTube tutorials that Prof. Teresa Wilcom has uploaded that you can go through and make it by yourself. And then she uses PVC pipes and joints. See, so this is a standard, and it can be used for sitting also. She also has she has completely made it using PVC pipes and joints. So of course, you will need you will need the help of an occupational therapist or physiotherapist to design and test these things. So though these are easy and cheap to make, you should follow the proper procedure. Make sure it's really safe for the kid before giving it to them. Yeah, so many ideas like this are already available on Pinterest, on YouTube, on Instructables. These are all different websites where people make things, and then they share stepwise tutorials on how to make and using low-cost items. So you can make a lot of solutions this way. So I will just show some, to finish it off, I'll just show some examples of some solutions that we made in our course. The students in our course, in their final project, they made these: an adaptive spoon, a chair. This is a stander with a desk, and it can be adjusted, the height adjustable. Again, spoon. And this is a custom made modular seater. So it can be attached to any plastic chair, and the child can be comfortably seated. So these posters are available on our website, along with the contact information of the person who made it. So you can, if you are interested in any of these solutions, you can contact the maker directly. Here is a QR code brochure, definitely. Adapted spoon, and this is it's actually a bed, a vibrator that can be placed on the bed. So this is to alert, instead of a doorbell, a person with hearing impairment cannot hear a doorbell, right? For example, if he or she is staying in a hotel. So if a button is pressed outside, and this vibrator on the bed vibrates, and the person knows that someone is waiting outside. A walker made with PVC pipes, tactile boards, tactile stories. Yeah, this is again another useful item. It's an MDF board that you can cut using a normal blade itself. So this board you can purchase. It's called multi-wood also. You purchase this board, you can just cut it with a normal pen knife at home, and then you can make a lot of solutions. So here she has made a balance board. Yeah, it's a communication board. So many solutions that came out from the innovative heads of our students in the course. This is a nutmeg picker. So a person who is interested in gardening but can't bend down to pick anything that's lying on the floor, or so here he has made it using a cycle brake. So you press a brake there, and this thing grips at the bottom. Yeah. So because of lack of time, I'm just rushing ahead. Maybe I can share the PPT with you later. These are other low-cost solutions where if the person is not able to click on the keyboard directly, this adaptive pointer can be used to click. And by simply adding extra large high contrast stickers to the keyboard keys, you can enhance accessibility for a person with visual impairment. And this is a normal gloves. If the person is not able to use a touchscreen device, if the child is just not able to press it properly, this is non-conductive. So even if the child is laying the hand fully on the touchscreen device, only the place where the finger is lying will get activated. Yeah, so I can keep talking on and on, but because we have a time limit, I'm ending it here. If you have more questions, you can go to our website. We are currently updating it. It should be up soon, in a month or within a month. And then that's our email and phone number. So we are a small team of 3. Dr. Satish Kumar is heading our center, and myself and Amit, we work there. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you so much, ma'am, for your excellent presentation upon the low-cost assistive devices, especially focusing upon communication part, and also focusing upon the activities of daily living, which really will be helping the special educators and teachers who are working with the children with the special needs, and also the students, prospective student that is special educators who will be working with the children with the special needs. Thank you so much, ma'am.
It's my pleasure. Thank you.
Okay. I request the resource persons to come forward for this question and answer session. The first questions few questions are addressed to Shankar sir.
Yeah.
Shankar sir.
Yeah, I'm available.
Okay, sir. So the first question is, what type of assessment can be used to assess children with special needs?
Actually, we for assistive technology, or probably is it regarding the screening process? We do have apps for that one. For example, the questionnaire for CWSN has been done by SSA itself, and it is there in Google. Actually, if you say that child assessment space SSA, then you will get the Google app, wherein you'll be able to ask a parent or somebody a basic question, and you'll be able to assess visual impairment or hearing impairment or intellectual disability or cerebral palsy, a basic screening tool. After that, the assessment has to be done by professionals only. Okay. Similarly, for a child with autism also, there is an app called ISAA, Indian Scale for Assessment of Autism, that can be used for assessing the, like there's around 40 questions whereby they can ask the questions, and then they'll be able to finalize how much of a percentage of autism can be there, and then they can go for a psychological assessment and all that. So similarly, there are even apps have come for assessment of this kind of a thing. Then how much a child has a hearing particularly, okay, to some level, and then take it to an audiologist. So that's what a special educator or a parent can do. More than that, the assessment has to happen with a professional. That's the thing. Then in case of assistive technology, as I told you, in a school environment, we use a set student environment task and tool. This again, we have to assess the characteristics of the student, the difficulties they're having, and then probably we'll also think about the environment, what kind of a school, is it rural or urban, what kind of a facilities they have. Okay, all that, as Akila was pointing out, there are both low cost solutions also for the same thing. At the same time, there are also high cost solutions also available. So it depends upon the environment, we can fix it out, what can be done. And again, whether the child is going to use it for some time, or is it going to be for a long run. Okay, he's going to use from a lower class to a higher class level. Okay, simple to say that one, I can say that if a child with visual impairment and multiple disability, short stature, to record in his classroom, even though somebody donated an iPad, we cannot give him an iPad here. Okay, because he is going to a kind of a school like a government school, and seeing iPad, the other children will get fascinated, and the all get distracted and all that. So what we decided is, initially we asked the teacher to record on a kind of a normal mobile phone, okay, adding a 30 GB card, and slowly we went on to a kind of a modified player wherein he'll be able to record, move between the records, search between the records and all that. So that way, slowly we now, he is in 12th standard, we moved him to a mobile phone with all the facilities of reading books and all that. So it depends upon the assessment is a continuous process. It travels with the child according to the environment, according to the level he is, and the task to be done. Because when he goes to 10th, 11th, 12th, he may have to do some practical stuffs also, so accordingly, he should get into projects and do something and all that. Then a mobile phone with added apps, we started providing it. We added some input devices to work on that. So similarly, an assessment is an ongoing assessment. Okay, it depends upon the environment and the task to be done. And there are tools which you can choose from according to the decision among the experts and the parent and the child. Yeah, you have to consider the 3 A's, affordability, availability, and accessibility. Is that how far the child is comfortable in using the particular device? Yeah.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir. The next question is, will it be one of the disadvantage for people who live in rural area?
No, we can adapt anything. For example, if you one particular, see, billiards and snooker are played in like richer places like in cities and everywhere by billionaires. Okay, but I have seen a slide where even in a remote African village they use lemon, they use all the fruits there, and they make a clay table and they use a normal branch of a tree and they also use a billiard. Okay, so it's about the innovation and how we are going to use it for any environment. For example, like in a school here in Chodinganallur, okay, a projector to buy was around 25,000-35,000, but the children they bought some kind of a lenses which are used in the projector from the surgical and physical lab, and they made a light, a small lamp, LED lamp, and then focused it on a mobile and they projected it on a screen. Okay, it did not have any electricity. It's a solar LED lamp, yeah, so that to make it more brighten, and the book is projected using a lens on a screen. So this way, like anywhere, there are low cost tools actually. Okay, so again, bringing now mobile, like if you think about it in India, it has come to a level like it's a more accessible one, so that it is even in a rural school, probably in case of SSA Tamil Nadu, we are given tablets to all special educators. The reason is that they could interact more with the children now. Okay, one tablet in a classroom can be circulated everywhere. It just have a kind of power or something like that. And if it is not possible, always there are low cost devices, there are low tech tools which can be built to replace the same thing. So the same kind of a communication app or an AAC thing which we are showing as Avas, Jello or Kavi PTS can be done on a board also. Okay, so according to the environment, it is an innovation of the teacher which has to happen. That's it. The interest and innovations are there. We can adapt probably like if they want to have some, they have some particular scenarios like I want this particular child is here available, and these are all some difficulties they are facing to do such kind of a task. We can always provide them solutions. Actually, they can contact us in our mobile phone and we'll be able to suggest solutions. That should not be a problem because assistive technology is certain things are common, certain things are more customized to a child. That can be done. This is possible.
Okay, sir. Okay, sir. The third question is this assistive technology suitable to ID child and children with multiple disabilities?
Positively,
How to
we have
handle?
used it many. Positively, we have used it for many. The only thing is we have to make a combination of the technology. That's it. For in case of a ID child, as I told you in an instruction, as much as we make it as a visual thing, okay. For example, you can use a PowerPoint and then the PowerPoint slide can be made more interactive one. Okay, there are provisions like links and all that, wherein a interactive questionnaire can be made in PowerPoint alone. Okay, that can themselves can be a kind of a one seminar you can take. So PowerPoint has so much of an options. We are using very limited things. Okay, making presentations, whatever be the animations there, everything can be made in such a way that the child with ID is interested in that and he is learning out of it. Similarly, for a child with multiple disability, we need to analyze what kind of a disability they have. Is it like ID and autism or ID and locomotor impairment like a cerebral palsy or something like that? Accordingly, we may have to change the input devices probably, like how we are going to interact with the devices in a high-tech environment. But in case of a low-tech, again, we may have to design the device according to the ability of the child. So that way, like technology tools are available. We need to know like what kind of a impairment that particular child has, and accordingly plan the tool for that. Particularly like instruction, as I told you, PowerPoint, we can do wonders in that. In case I have a child with autism or something like that who is going to interact with the PowerPoint, then it is better like not to on a touch screen or something like that. I just put a kind of a thick glass on the touch screen so that even if he hits harder, the touch screen doesn't have any impact on that. A temper glass or something like that. Okay. So similarly, for a keyboard, like we even places key guards and all that, so that even if hard press, it will not happen. It will not worsen the keyboard. Okay. For him, if he is going to continuously press the keyboard out of a tantrum, then I switch on this kind of a filter key in the keyboard option, wherein even if you press 30 seconds, only one key will come there. on the screen. So this way, like, according to the child, we could adapt everything. That is possible in assistive technology, that I can say that. There are some examples I'm telling you. Yeah.
The next question is addressed to Akila ma'am. Ma'am? Akila ma'am?
Yeah, I'm here.
Yes, ma'am. The first question addressed to you is, how to teach ID students in classroom by assistive technology in education?
So for AT tools for students with intellectual disability, like if it is communication that they need assistance in, then you will need to have trained the student and the teacher with AAC. And again, you can use, the thing is to use several modalities and not just the normal lecture based, but use a lot of visual, auditory, a lot of other stimulations also to convey concepts in an easier way. And Shankar had shown you toys from trash, right? So simple toys to demonstrate simple scientific concepts. So just like for regular kids, even for regular kids, these are useful. Instead of now things are moving from a lecture based kind of teaching to a more experiential learning, right? So the more the kid experiences, the better the kid understands. So the same would apply for a child with intellectual disability also. And if the child is having problems in communication, then AAC implemented in the right way with the help of a speech language pathologist would be the way to go. That's my answer. If Shankar has anything to add.
Yeah, it would be more of an interactive mode, ma'am. For example, even if I'm going to display a PDF on the board, okay, and then probably I can make the child to, like, I'm going to display it using a kind of a projector or probably something on the board, okay, or say that I have a book, okay, I have a mobile phone, okay, then as Akila is pointing out with a QR video or something like that, then the child will get more information on that, right? Instead of just a printed textbook, if I'm going to show a video, right? Tamil Nadu textbook has come up with so many QR codes. Diksha is having so many things related to one particular information alone. Okay. So this QR code then taking them into a video mode, and then the child may understand something more on that. The issue with intellectual disability is, like, they need more information to learn a simple thing, right? Then they pick up that. So that now information is available. We need to just condense it in, bring it in a more interactive way where the child can understand. You know that many cases like intellectual disabilities, they are all very easily getting into YouTube and watching a movie and all that. Okay. So technology is very simple for them now. Okay. Only thing is how that movie going child can be brought into the classroom by showing a informative video. That the teacher has to look into that. That's it. Other than that, like, as if like, whatever be that media, we are making the class interactive with more interaction, showing them 3D models, or probably, like, just show a 3D model and ask the child, like, okay, can we have something more on this? I'll show you a film on this. Okay. So putting forth more and more questions and making them ask more questions. Okay. By that, there are information sources. There are lot of websites with sample worksheets which are all available. I can give you a list of links of websites where you don't have to do anything. You can download so many things from the websites and all that. But if want to say that, do to learn. Okay. DO number 2 LEARN, do to learn. It's just a simple website. If they can just go in that, there are so many activities by which children are not taught by writing on a board, but by doing activities are available. It's from grade 1 to, like, class 1 to class 12. So many activities. So for a child with intellectual disability or with other kind of tantrums and all that, when you involve them into an activity, the concentration gets more. They don't think that they are making somebody sit here and write something, but they are making as a game. Okay, you can make that as a game. You can involve other people also into that. By that, you are also improving their social skills. Other children ask some questions, and by that, if they don't have the answer also, they come to the teacher. This fellow is asking this question. The teacher can explain it more for all the other children also. By this, We are not alone developing their academic skills, but we are also developing their life skills also. Okay, we are improving their questioning skills, we are improving their social skills to mix up with other students. That's how inclusive education can take place now. So separate them into small groups and place them. That's where the participation comes. Place at least one intellectual disability child into a bigger group and create a peer network. Like, one at least among, say there are 8 children, among that one child will be, at least one child will be more empathetic, right? Just get that particular child alone and connect with the child with intellectual disability and make a group. Things will really happen now. You go to all inclusive education models, like, there are so many people who have come up in inclusive education model and they're all bright students now. Okay. But if you ask them, they'll say that my friend also was with me when I studied here. That friend will be a person without any difficulty or disability. So that way the peer support can play a major role in this, in an inclusive education setup. Yeah. Probably we even for sign language, we ran a program called through sign B, like making other children also learn sign language so that they can communicate with everybody. In Tiffany school, like in Shillong and all that, it has become a part of their curriculum now. In an inclusive school, it has become a part of the curriculum that they should learn Indian Sign Language, basic gestures, so that the other children doesn't find any difficulty at all in communication. The sign language is one of the languages they speak. That's it in the school. So that's how inclusive education can mature more. Yeah.
The next question is, what are the best assistive technology device for children with autism?
Again, with autism, it depends upon, like, for non-verbal children, as we told, like, many have started using the apps now. Okay, like buy a good Android phone or something like that, put a high tempered glass and also give a rugged case, which are all less available at 500, 600 rupees now in Amazon. Okay, put a rugged case so that at times, like, the child gets a tantrum or something like that, he throws it or all that, the mobile doesn't break. Okay, to that level. Then after taking these precautions, like, for non-verbal children, we have started giving AAC, as Akila was pointing it out. Probably Avas is one, and Jello is another app we have. Kavi PTS is one for smaller children. As they grow up, they can go to Jello, they can go to Avas, and by that they'll be able to communicate with others because that speaks up for them actually. And that also acts as an educational note-taking device also. Okay, people can type in that, okay, and then store it and then come back and give it as an answer. They are more technically oriented, they are more technically wired, we can say that. So it will be easy for them to operate that. Suppose if they have any additional conditions, there are switches, there are even a normal mouse can be attached to that. If they feel that, working on a screen is a bit hard for them, no, it will not, no, he will not allow that, then they can always attach a small mouse or or a stylus or something like that. And again, language also, as I told you, Gboard is one app, like, Google Board. Okay, it allows so many ways of typing a text. You can speak, you can swipe. Okay, you can have word prediction in all languages now, Tamil, Hindi, and all that. So for a child, like, for autism, why should I type all this? They may not feel so comfortable. So they see a word, WO, all the words are displayed, they just click on it and go. So this is how we may have to adapt a technology according to them. We should not pull them to our technology. Okay, whatever technology or something which is fitting to them, okay, which is going well with them, observe them more, and then fix the technology, and probably the training goes and they'll be using it. Otherwise, there'll be more of, as Akila was pointing out, like, we buy things and give it to them and they abandon it. We need to sit with them, explore with them, and find out small apps, because mobile is now a common device to explore now. So we can have small apps like this and then do it. And the simulation level, VR has gone to a level like now in NIPMAR in Thrissur, like, National Institute for Physical and Rehabilitation, right? Like, so they have now gone to a level of virtual reality in teaching them daily livings also, like, a toileting experience, crossing the road experience, all that, like, in a virtual way. Just put a glass and they are left in a classroom, okay, and they experience, like, they are in the middle of the road and how to cross the road. So slowly technology is coming to that level. Like, if there is a risk in making them go and cross the road, then probably when they see the road, they are seeing the same road here in the technology also, they will not feel that fear now. Okay, initially they may have it, and as time goes up, they'll think that same road I saw, let me walk. So these are all something like, people have to explore it. People have to implement it more.
Okay, sir. Sir, is there any other app that is accessible for blind students similar to Kahoot?
For blind students, basically, like, ma'am, this is talkback which is enabled. Okay, if any other app, even Kahoot is also talkback enabled. Okay, so probably if they on a mobile, if they enable text to speech as well as, like, talkback, then they should be able to work on such kind of interactive apps. Actually, that is possible, ma'am. Where the
Okay,
keyboard
sir.
becomes possible and answering is becoming possible. But in case if any of the app they find that is not accessible, then they can always get back to me or somebody, because we are also working with such kind of a startups. We can talk to them and make it accessible. For
Okay,
chess
sir.
boards are available, accessible chess boards are available. There are many games are also available. For blind persons, I can give a separate list actually. Yeah.
Okay, sir. Is it possible to develop an assistive technology specifically for a child by collaborating with parents, therapists, and assistive technology specialists?
That's what Nish is doing. Probably Akila will be the right person to do.
Uh, okay, sir. One last question, sir. Please suggest a few assistive technology for educating cerebral palsy.
Cerebral palsy, particularly, ma'am, it starts with a kind of a, what kind of a motor impairment they have. Is it fine motor or is it gross motor difficulty? If it is going to be gross motor, the first thing to be addressed is their mobility stuff. Okay. For example, do they require just kind of a, they require continuous physical, physiotherapy and occupational therapy system to make that as a habit. So their motor movements has to be registered strongly in their brain again and again, so that, like, they'll be able to follow it up. So it requires a more of physiotherapy and occupational therapy. What first thing for making them mobile, and even in this process, like, the positioning of, as Akila was pointing out, and you have seen in the PPT also, like, making the CP chair, like, how to position them more safely. It all depends upon their body, like, holding their body, holding their head and all that. It's for each child, it is a unique thing to make a positioning aid. Okay, we have to make a complete assessment and make a mobility or a positioning aid. Of mobility, there are people who are using even normal crutches, and there are people who are using a very motorized, high-fi motorized chairs also for mobility. It depends upon their, like, hand functioning or fine motor movement they are able to execute. We can go to that level. Now probably even the government has started thinking about, in Tamil Nadu and all, we are giving even motorized chairs also. Okay, it depends upon it. After motorized and this kind of a positioning, now the physical access is handled out, then comes the communication. If the child has a speech impairment and all that, probably we could start with the communication chart and scheduling chart and all that in a kind of a low cost way, and slowly take them to a kind of a device like AAC or, like Big Mac or anything. Okay, either it depends upon the number of interactions they need to have with the environment in the school or in the home and all that. Accordingly, we can take them from simple yes no to a high level kind of a complicated sentence level. Okay, if they are having some kind of a speech impairment, they are not able to talk so fluently, and they find it difficult to talk. Okay, it's training them more. Then AAC devices will be for communication. And similarly, like, when they get into for typing or writing or anything in a classroom, as I told you, a touch screen can be deployed for them. And even in the touch screen, we could use a switch or something like as an adapted mouse, wherein they use a scanning mode to just select options, and that will work for them. Okay. Or we are able to type, then the keyboard can be, the normal computer keyboard can be accommodated, adapted in such a way that, as I told you, even in Windows, we have filter key, toggle key, and sticky key, which are all for children with cerebral palsy. Okay. So this can be used for, like, making the keyboard adapted. or an on-screen keyboard with prediction, so that continuous, the word need not be typed continuous. The child types CONT, continuous is displayed. They click on the continuous on a keyboard, on a laptop or on a mobile, anywhere on this. Prediction programs are available so that they don't have to type. And in case they are able to write something on a paper or something like that, then the writing guides, so that the slitted papers, whatever be that, what will happen is in a slitted cardboard, they'll be able to make a movement within that lines only. So they'll be able to make some more legible handwriting in that. And to hold the pen and all that, we do have this hand grips, right, which can be facilitated according to their own finger strength, according to their own muscle strength, and according to the own way that the fingers can expand or contract. Okay, that can be done, like using instamorphous, like Akila was showing. People use even doors and then harden it using with another materials. Even people use toys like cars or any other thing, so that they could be glued with a Fevicol or a quick fix and then made it as a hand grip. Okay, or bolts and nuts for higher hand grip attached to a pencil or a pen. So for that, using that, children are writing, children are drawing. There are so many mouth painters. Actually, there are so many food painters in Bombay and Mumbai. There is an association called Foot and Mouth Painters. You see their drawing, okay, you'll be really amazed. Actually, it's being like actioned at 1 lakh and more. So many opportunities are there with cerebral palsy children. Their IQ are good actually at many times. I have seen children like one of my friend Rajiv, and Rajan, he is a kind of a graduate in kind of law. So to that level, people are there, cerebral palsy kind of thing. Only thing is the teacher has to work more with the therapist, more with the parent, and then take them according to their abilities to each level. It is possible, ma'am. Yeah, but we need a closer assessment for the child, because it is more of a physical assessment. It is more of an intellectual assessment we need to do. Yeah, but this is possible.
Thank you, sir. So now I take this opportunity to propose a vote of thanks. The essence of all beautiful art is gratitude. I, on behalf of Department of Education, Mother Teresa Women's University, feel grateful in expressing my gratitude to each and everyone who are part of this webinar. I am here to present vote of thanks to the people who made this event successful. Firstly, I would like to thank God Almighty for showering His blessings for the successful conduct of this webinar. I express my sincere thanks to Vice Chancellor of Mother Teresa Women's University, Dr. Vaideki Vijayakumar, for presiding the webinar and delivering the presidential address. Actually, in the chat box also, the participants have mentioned that madams talk about educational psychology and things related to assistive technology enlightened them, and they were asking reference from madam, like how to go about with referring to the books and all. Thank you, madam, for your enlightened speech. And I would like to thank the resource persons of both the sessions, Shankar, Subbiah sir and Akila ma'am. From the day one when I approached them, they were talking with me in an amicable manner and were cooperative and supportive to me, and especially Shankar sir, he was supporting me in each and every aspect of this webinar. Thank you very much, Shankar sir and Akila madam, for attending this webinar as a resource person and sharing your immense expertise with the participants. Participants were all happy with your presentation, and in the chat box, you also would have seen their comments like informative session, and the session has enlightened them. Thank you so much for the resource persons for sharing their knowledge in an intelligent and thought-provoking way. I thank Dr. Bindu, Associate Professor and Head Department of Education, for delivering the welcome address and supporting each and every one of us in the department for making out all the activities of the department a successful one. And I extend my thanks to all my faculty members of Department of Education, Dr. Blessing Mary ma'am, Dr. Ranjini ma'am, Dr. Reena Ruby ma'am and Dr. Beulah Belsi ma'am for being with me and supporting me in each and every aspect of this webinar and all the endeavors which I have been taking up. Thank you so much, madam. And I also thank all the teaching staff and technical staff who have been with me for the successful conduct of this webinar. This webinar would not have been a successful one without the volunteers and students. Thank you, volunteers and students who have been with me side by side so that I could be able to take this webinar in a successful way. I thank each and every participant for their active participation and overwhelming questions so that the other participants are enriched with their knowledge clarification. Thank you so much for making this event a successful one. I thank everyone for blessing the webinar with your presence. Now, I officially end the event with the Vande Mataram. Thank you all so much.
Thank you all.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, Bindu ma'am. Thank you, Bindu ma'am.
Ma'am, unmute yourself, ma'am. Bindu ma'am.
Okay.